And welcome to the Cozad-Callaway Road. It is Sandhills Open Road Challenge 2021, and we're ready for the shootout races. We've got a whole crew up here on a scaffold, and we are ready to broadcast for you this morning, not only here on our live stream, but also later on with rounds 2 and 3 on 95.3 KBBN and KBBN.com. My name is Jeremy Scheip. I'll bring in my broadcast partner Brent Apperson here in a moment, but before we get too deep into things, we want to start by thanking our amazing sponsors that allow us to be here today. I think we've got to start with Great Plains Communications. Those guys, they talked to the Sork folks when we said, hey, we want to stream all 3 days of racing, and they talked to them and said, hey, well, we can just put a fiber line a little bit further down the line and just run a post out into the middle of this cattle field so that you have a great connection to stream. And they did it. And it's an amazing connection. It allows us to have a better sound on the radio. It allows us to bring you these pictures on video. It's an amazing thing that Great Plains Communications did for us, and we can't thank them enough. Our other sponsors include the Exchange in Arnold, A1 Auto Repair, Mills Hardware and Feed. Those are your gold radio sponsors. Your silver radio sponsors are the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Med Clinics, Grazer's Bar and Grill, BD Broken Bow, Fixed Ride Auto Body, First Aid Insurance, Shotgun Annie Saloon and Grill, Wenquist Incorporated, Reed's Food Center, Trotter Service, Trumbull Repair and Towing, State Farm Insurance Agent Donna Cahill, Henry's Bar in Callaway. And your video sponsors that are bringing you this video broadcast today include A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, Mills Hardware and Feed, First Aid Insurance, the Callaway Market, Lines Appliance, Anderson Auto Tech in Broken Bow, Trotter Service, and Cobblestone Hotel and Suites. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll see those sponsors scrolling on your screen throughout the morning and into the early afternoon. And we're going to give you several different angles. We're going to have some help from Central Nebraska Streaming later on in the broadcast. They're going to be giving you some looks from the sky with a drone up in the air. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And they're getting ready to get started here. So I welcome in my broadcast partner, Brent Apperson. Good morning, Brent.
Jeremy, good morning. What a beautiful morning, huh?
It's gorgeous. You know, it's like every year. The sun obviously is going to come up in the same place as it did last year. Comes up right behind our back, right behind the spectators. Good crowd on hand, by the way. I look around here. A good amount of people out here to watch the racing. They've got coolers and waters at the ready for when it gets warmer. And we're going to have a lot of fun here today watching these cars fly by in front of us. They've got the starting line back at the mile line. And we'll have our mile shootout racers first. We'll tell you real quick a little bit about the shootout race in a moment, as we've got the first car coming up.
I believe this is Darren Brewer who is starting us off today. Darren comes from Gretna, Nebraska, and I think we might be getting to see the Lamborghini right off the bat.
Yep, here it is. Wow. 171.2 for Darren Brewer in the Lamborghini, car number 40, to get us started off. So that is a preview, folks, of what you're going to see here this morning. That's the mile, and then we'll have the half mile after that.
And I think that we'll just go ahead and say right now, you might hear a lot of oohs, ahs, and wows as we broadcast to you today, because that's really kind of what this event presents, and that's why you see so many spectators out here today.
Car 112 is next on the track and is already about a half mile up. We'll be coming across here now.
This would be Jared Helge getting ready to make his run.
Jared's gray Corvette goes 158.7. So we'll take down these first runs here. And basically, if you're not familiar with the shootout races, what they're trying to do is one of two things. They're either trying to get the fastest speed in either their half mile or mile class, or they're trying to match all three speeds as close down to the 10th of a mile an hour as they can. This shootout race started in 2002, and it was added to supplement the SORC, and now a lot of different other organizations have added it to their races across the country, so it's been a great addition. Comes the next car, Mustang with rally stripes, number 25 on the side, flies through here in the mile.
Leroy Uhrig making his run in the 1 mile shootout. Leroy, of course, has been a longtime member of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge and has been coming here for many, many years. And he makes his opening run in the 1 mile shootout this morning.
3 cars passed our fastest time so far, 171.2. Ryan Firstenau is coming down now. Driving that bright yellow Viper. Gavin Higgins loved this one. He's running the video equipment today. This is his favorite car. Car 204 flies through and hits 159.9. Four cars in now. Car number 20 coming up next. Again, we're here early in the mile. After this first run of mile exhibitions is through, we'll tell you a little bit more about the classes and what these cars are competing for.
Tommy Dale Vines coming across the line in his 1 mile shootout run. 177.6 is what Tommy registers in his first run today. Tommy out of Eagle Butte, South Dakota. Tommy, I believe, participated in the loop-to-loop race yesterday as well. Been a long-time competitor here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. And we go back to last year when Tommy made his run. He actually got up to 191 miles per hour a year ago.
Another Corvette coming down the line here next. 1 mile shootout going on right now. We are 5 cars in. Last year we floated right around 50 cars in both the mile and the half mile. We'll see where our number comes out to this year. Car 811, black Corvette coming through. 165.5.
Car number 811, driven by Mark Kapner of Idaho Falls, Idaho. And I think Mark was the one that brought his Lamborghini here a year ago, if I'm not mistaken, Jeremy. And he was the one that posted the record a year ago, getting up to 234.1 miles per hour in the car that he brought a year ago.
Car number 4 up next. This is the new C8 Corvette. Beautiful looking car, almost looks like a supercar, but it is an American muscle car. Car number 4 goes through at 126 miles per hour.
And that is one of the local favorites, Robbie Smith. Robbie, of course, right there in Arnold, Nebraska. Robbie does a lot of work around the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. In fact, it's his property, I believe, that was used yesterday in checking in all of the cars as everybody drove in to do their tech check and make sure that everything was ready to go. Robbie's had a lot of success in driving in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge and now makes his opening run of the 1 mile shootout here today.
7 cars have gone through here in the 1 mile. Again, if you're not familiar with where we're at, we're 12 miles north of Cozad on Road 421 and 1 mile west of Callaway and 16 miles south on the Cozad-Callaway Road. They allow 2 miles of shutdown area used for maximum safety. Okay, so it sounds like that was actually the exhibition runs. I wasn't sure if they were doing any exhibition runs, and I didn't hear an announcement that those were exhibition runs, but that's what those were. But they were 1 mile long exhibition runs, and it gave us a good preview of what we're going to see today. Also, I want to let you folks know that first-time SORC entrants are limited to just competing in the half-mile division. We do have a good amount of rookie drivers that will be driving in the half-mile shootout today. Drivers in the 1 mile need to have a car that meets the safety equipment levels for classes with a 145 mile an hour tech speed in the Sork race. That would mean a little bit more substantial roll cage, a bigger fire extinguisher, just lots more safety equipment in order to go faster in the 1 mile. And we'll be talking a little bit about street class and super street class. Street class cars are all engine. There's no supercharger or turbo on them, whereas super street, they have boost. So they've got either a turbo, a supercharger, or something else, or both, honestly, that's giving them that power to get them down the road faster. So that's kind of a look at the different things that you'll be seeing today, and we'll kind of look into a breakdown of who won those events and who competed in those events a little bit later on as we work our way into the broadcast. But good preview, Brent.
Yeah, fabulous preview, and we'll get kind of into the meat of it here in just a moment. Of course, there will be the mile shootout. Then cars will participate in just a half-mile shootout as well. And I think it gives us an opportunity, too, to just say a big thank you to all of the great volunteers who are here today. You can't put on an event such as this without volunteer help. And, Jeremy, you've seen it over the years, the amount of volunteers that just give up their time to come and make sure that this event can go on year after year. It really is kind of amazing.
Yeah, and I think the announcement here before they got started out here on the Callaway Cozad Road was that they had over 300 volunteers this year that help all 3 races happen. And the planning for next year's race starts immediately after this one is done. I think they have a meeting like the very next month, so they don't take much time off. It takes a lot of hard work to make these races happen. So the exhibition run drivers will come back through. If they had some guest riders with them, I think they'll drop them off so they can come back and watch the action. So they'll drop them off, and then they'll go back and get in line so that they can compete in the shootout races upcoming.
How do we get to be a guest in a car? Huh? We got to find this out.
You got to know one of these guys that drives one of these really nice cars.
So is this a good time to make our disclaimer? We'll make it again when we get to the radio side of things, but the disclaimer would be if we mispronounce a name, we will apologize in advance. Is now a good time to do that?
That's a good time.
Okay.
And you know what? I'll just kind of pat Brent and I on the back a little bit. We've gone to a lot of football, basketball, and all kinds of sporting events, and we've seen a lot of different interesting names, but we haven't seen them all. So
no.
While we are confident in our skills in finding out how these names are said, we'll just kind of figure it out as we go along on some of them and hope that you bear with us. So most of the exhibition drivers have gone back. Car 811 is still dropping off their rider. And then we'll go back. They're driving back to the mile starting line. All the cars are backed up there. And then they'll do the mile shootout.
Well, I don't think that we can mention this enough during our video streaming today. But again, and Jeremy opened with this, but we just can't thank enough Great Plains Communications. If you are watching this video stream, this is all because of them. I mean, we're in the middle of a pasture, folks. They did the Field of Dreams game yesterday for Major League Baseball. This is like the Field of Dreams when it comes to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. I mean, it's just gorgeous out here, but, I mean, we have internet out here. How in the world does that happen?
Normally, just to get radio out, we have a bag phone that we use one time a year, one day a year, one morning a year, and it's for this race each year. We use a cell phone booster, the magnetic antenna that you put on top of your car, and we don't have that this year. That's thanks to Great Plains Communications, and they are, by the way, one of the Sork sponsors, one of their main sponsors. They've got a list of major sponsors we'll flip up on the screen here for you. They're all wonderful organizations and groups and individuals that have supported the Sork for a very long time, and they include Pinnacle Bank, Shirley La Liberty, Great Plains Communications, Optima Batteries, Blueprint Engines, DeKalb and Asgrow, Gateway Motors and Sandhills Motors of Broken Bow, Viera Wireless, 444 Racing with RT Green, and Hornaday, all corporate sponsors of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Those are their big-time sponsors, their main sponsors, but they've got hundreds of sponsors and volunteers that help make it happen every year. So, again, we're in the 21st year. They make it easy on us as announcers, Brent. They started in the year 2000. So
yeah, right.
that makes it a lot easier to calculate off the top of your head.
And two, we would just like to thank, since we have this opportunity, just the board of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. I know that Jeremy Shipe and Dave Burney went over and visited with them about the possibility of doing a video stream. And well, I tell you what, these folks have worked so well with us over the many years that KBBN Radio has been a part of this event in covering it and broadcasting some of the activities. We just can't thank them enough for the support that we receive from them and for the way that they really have helped us put all of this together today and will help us put everything together tomorrow for our broadcast as well.
Again, for those of you that are watching and looking for a specific car, we're going to give you all of the names and numbers and speed information that we can. We gain a lot of information here in the first run, though. We may seem slightly behind on getting the information to you the first time around, but the second and third runs we'll obviously know the order they ran in before, and we'll be able to give you that information a little bit quicker, a little bit of biography out of the program book, and it'll be a lot of fun. Let's talk about the mile shootout from last year. The 2020 winners, Brent mentioned it just for a moment, but the mile King of the Hill is the fastest speed of all classes, and that was Mark Kapner in that Lamborghini of his, the 2011. He came out of the Super Street division and went 234.1 miles per hour, and that was really cool to see in the 1 mile. To go 234, I don't know if you folks have ever seen a car go 234 miles an hour in person, but I got to tell you, as much as I'd love to tell you folks that are watching the video stream that you're getting the full experience in person, it is breathtaking.
Well, we mentioned that you might hear some oohs and ahs and wows. That created a whole lot of oohs and ahs and wows when he came across the line over 230 miles an hour a year ago.
Also, last year in the mile, we didn't have any matching speed winners. That was unfortunately because none of the mile shootout participants got to run down the track more than one time. There was an oil spill that happened on the road, and they determined that it was just too dangerous to have the riders continue to go down the road and compete. So no mile drivers ran twice last year, so we didn't have a matching speed winner in 2020. In the mile unlimited class, that essentially means that the car doesn't have to be driven to the shootout site like the street or super street divisions. They can trailer it here, and it also has less restrictions as far as what is allowed. It doesn't need to be street legal. It doesn't have to have headlights and taillights or be a licensed vehicle. It can't, however, be a dragster, essentially. They don't allow that out here. But the unlimited mile winner was Jeremy Bolt. He went 214.5 miles an hour in his 2002 Corvette, also eclipsed that 200 mile an hour number. And then in the mile street, it was John Schmidt going 183.4 miles an hour in his 2008 Corvette. And then, of course, winning the mile King of the Hill and the Super Street was that 2011 Lamborghini going 234.1 miles an hour. But I don't think he's got that Lamborghini this year here, Brent. He also happens to have a pretty nice Corvette, and it looks like that's what he's driving this year.
Are we going to get a speed on the side-by-side that comes across here or not? Oh, no, they're turning in.
They turned in, unfortunately. So
I wonder if we could have those race one year.
That'd be cool.
See how fast a side-by-side could get up to.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Gavin's over here going 45. 45, that's what they could max out at.
I can just barely see over the hill here, and there's some vehicles that have flashing lights on them and such at about the half-mile mark up the road. Now, they're either on the road or very close to the road on the shoulder. They won't run the 1 mile cars with those vehicles there, I wouldn't believe. So there's a stoppage for something. It's way down there. You folks that are watching on the stream can barely see the top of that pickup there, about halfway across. I haven't said anything over the radio yet, so perhaps no news is good news in that respect. You hope it's not anything to do with the road or anything like that, but they want to make sure this road is very safe for these vehicles. A lot of them, I mean, you look at them when they're just sitting there parked, either in a parking spot in town or just right here on the side of the road. They only sit 2 or 3 inches off the ground. So if you hit a bump that you hit I mean, imagine you and me, Brent, we hit a bump in our normal cars that we drive to work every day, and it jostles you enough. But if you're only 2 inches off the ground, you're going to bottom out.
Mm-hmm.
The side-by-side that went down went right past them. Maybe this is a final road check or something. Haven't heard anything on the radio yet.
Well, while we continue to wait for the racers to come across in the 1 mile shootout, gives us an opportunity to remind you that we will have coverage of the race that started it all, and that's the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. They'll start on the edge of Arnold, right down Carroll Street there, one of the main drags in Arnold, and make the run on the county road between Arnold and Dunning, and we'll be there tomorrow, and we'll have coverage of it for you on the live video stream, which you're currently watching, and also we'll have coverage on KBBN 95.3 FM and KBBN.com as well, and so we'll invite you to tune in for the video and the audio of the presentation of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge tomorrow. I believe the race is set for 8:30 tomorrow, and so we'll be on the air with that for you tomorrow. I know that Dave, Bernie, and Larry Cotner enjoyed broadcasting and bringing you the loop-to-loop race, which we had for you yesterday on our live video stream, and then the entirety on the radio. So we'll look forward to covering the Sandhills Open Road Challenge for you tomorrow. And again, you can access that on the media platforms that you're watching now, Sandhills Express Facebook page, KCNI KBBN YouTube page, and also on our Twitter feeds as well. So we'll look forward to that tomorrow.
I believe I see a car, one of the shootout cars, driving up to around that half-mile area there. I don't know if they're going to do a half-mile exhibition run. Usually I'm not sure. If you couldn't tell, we are completely in the dark as to what's going on. So, well, we're just going to keep flowing along here. There is a Corvette coming up the road, doing about 30 miles an hour.
Well, again, it's great to see all of the spectators out here today. And again, this is an event that, when you think about all of the events of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, this may be the most spectator-friendly of them all, because everybody can come out. You can kind of see the entire half-mile and 1 mile lane that they run, and then a lot of people focused right in kind of where we are, where they can see the final speed as they come across the line here today. But just great attendance for the event, and again, I don't know if we can compliment Mother Nature enough for the beautiful morning that she has presented, because it is absolutely perfect and gorgeous out here to start the day.
Did you hear that, Mother Nature? We are complimenting you. We'd like
yeah.
We'd like one more day of this beautiful weather, please.
That would be fine.
You know what? Even if we have to meet somewhere in the middle, that fog that's always kind of hanging around at the starting line of Sork, that'd be okay. Let's just have it not hang around for like 4 or 5 hours. That sounds good. So they're moving up to the half-mile line. I should have known better, having done this race 5 times in a row now, but they do the exhibition runs in the mile. Then they move up and do the half-mile, do all the half-mile cars, and then they do the mile shootout. So we'll have the actual half-mile shootout going on here. And this is going to be quick, folks. So we're going to give you car number and driver, and then the next time through we'll be able to work ahead a little bit and give you more information about the driver. But these cars get moving through pretty quick. You think they take off quick in the 80 mile an hour class at loop to loop, or in the Sork race, they really get cooking here. They've got 2 miles of extra road past the finish line so that they can just keep on cruising and not get bunched up at the end. So they'll send the Razor down one more time, and then I'm thinking we're going to get started here very soon with the half-mile shootout.
Well, going back to last year's half-mile shootout, I think that the top speed turned in a year ago was Steve Tasca, as he put in a run of 177.2 miles an hour. That's in a half mile, folks.
Yeah, simply amazing. And they were able to do enough runs that there were some half-mile matching speed winners. First place was Charlie Bosselman with runs of 130.9 and 130.8. Second place was Jeffrey Bernard with runs 123.3 and 123.2. And then the half-mile unlimited fastest speed was Eric Schmidt with 157.3 in his 1989 Corvette. And then half-mile street was Chad Christensen going at 153.5 miles an hour in his 2011 Corvette.
Of course, one thing to keep in mind as we read those to you, a year ago, not everybody got more than one trip in the half-mile and 1 mile shootout. Usually they get 3 runs, and then you average the 3 to see who is closest to the same speed on the 3 runs, but unfortunately last year's event was cut short, and so not everybody got that opportunity.
Yeah, I think the most runs that anyone in the half-mile ended up getting was 2. Now, they do just need a minimum of 2 runs in order to get that matching speed. So they did actually have some matching speed winners last year, but not everyone had an opportunity to get all those runs in to better themselves on that 3rd run. That's when it really gets interesting. I think in the 5 or 6 years that I've done the Sork race, I've seen 1 person or 2 match all 3 speeds down to the 10th of a mile an hour. Which, if you try to do that just on an empty stretch of road, folks, just going the speed limit, just try to go past a pole 3 times in a row with your needle exactly on like 55 miles an hour, say. It's difficult to even get within a mile of an hour in speed. Kind of looks to me, Brent, like everyone's practicing their tailgating for the upcoming Husker football season.
Could be.
There's even a Huskers tent over there.
Now, what I like, and I don't think we have a camera to where you can see this, but as we are looking out across, there are actually some cattle moving up closer to the fence and to the road so that they can get a better view of the half-mile and 1 mile shootout today. I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah, we'll swing a camera over there. Those cattle, they must be gearheads because they seem to do that each year. I think it's maybe because that's where their water is, but I'd like to think that they want to see the Lamborghini go by.
He'll be driving the 2014 Chevy Corvette.
All right, we're trying to kind of listen to the PA announcer as well as they kind of alert us as to who will be coming across. I think Robbie Smith is going to make our opening run here today, as now I believe we're into the portion now where the runs are going to count, right?
Correct. This is the official half-mile shootout, and we're going to catch the car and the driver as they go through this first time around so that when we have our 2nd and 3rd runs, we can tell you their previous speeds, what they're trying to accomplish. And usually it's pretty easy to tell if they're just trying to go really, really fast. Again, we're on I think this is a standard piece of scaffolding. Just a normal double wide piece of scaffolding. We got 4 of us up here with 1 table, a laptop, a soundboard, a video switcher, and a camera. And we're pretty cozy up here. We'll check back on that about 3 hours from now when it's 20 degrees warmer and the sun's on our necks. But right now, couldn't be happier to be here with you folks. Great crowd on hand to take this one in. This might be the largest crowd I've ever seen at the shootout. They stretch all the way down to the other side of this pasture behind us and all the way to the other end. It's great to see It's gained popularity every single year.
Yeah, I want to say they started the shootout in '02, right?
Correct.
And boy, when they had it the first year, I think everybody saw right away that they were going to continue this event. It's become one of the most popular ones of the weekend.
Here comes our first car in the half mile, car number 4. Goes 140 flat.
That was Robbie Smith.
Again, that's Robbie Smith. Robbie right out of Arnold, Nebraska, and Robbie has been heavily involved in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, not just as a competitor in it, but as an organizer as well. And a nice way to get things started today.
Here comes the Lamborghini. This is car number 40. Let off the gas with a couple hundred yards to go. Maybe had a target speed in mind. 147.6 for the blue Lamborghini, car number 40.
And that's Darren Brewer, who came across the line in his opening leg of the half-mile shootout.
So Darren gets to have a little bit of fun, did the mile exhibition, and then officially competes in the half mile. Comes our third car, car number 83. Nice late 80s or early 90s Camaro coming through at a speed of 93.8.
Keith Bisson driving that one, coming to us from Iowa.
With a speed of 93.9.
93.9 was Keith's opening run in the half-mile shootout.
Here comes our first quote-unquote vintage car. This is my favorite car, car 866. And it lets you know it's driving by at 132.8 miles an hour.
Trenton Zesson, the driver,
That was Trent
making his opening run of this half-mile shootout.
The time of 132.8.
4 cars in. We should float right around the 40 to 50 car mark if we're right around where we were last year.
Next up will be car number 51, John Slack of Bennington, Nebraska.
John Slack now making his run in the half-mile shootout. Coming across the line, we'll check the speed for you. And John able to post an opening speed of 101.4.
Nice looking Subaru there for Mr. Slack. Again, thank you to all you folks tuning in to our video stream. This replay will be available to you on all of our streaming platforms. If you know a driver that wants to watch it back, let them know. It's car number 91 goes past here in the half mile.
Mike McCullough driving that one. 115.3 miles per hour. His opening speed in the half-mile shootout. Mike coming to us from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Check that 115.4.
Here comes a bright yellow Corvette. Car 221 speeds right by. So that Corvette really opens up the exhaust.
221 driven by Kathy and Jay Hill.
And we'll see, did he get the exact same speed as the previous car, or did the...
Next up is Adam Rogers.
I don't think the speed indicator changed. Oh, there it goes, 141.1. As our first SUV of the competition comes through, car number 33.
That's Adam Rogers coming across the line. Adam out of Durango, Colorado.
116.5.
And they post an opening run of 116.5 miles per hour.
We'll see a couple of SUVs in the competition. There's a Ford Explorer that's down there, and they said they have some quote-unquote modifications done to it. It's not just straight off the lot. Here comes a great-looking yellow Mustang with the racing stripes. Car number 302 comes across at 118.1.
Chad Smith driving it from Alliance, Nebraska.
And a speed of
And Chad able to post a speed of 118.1 miles per hour. I don't know if you saw that, but in the book that we have, I flipped immediately to car number 302 that just crossed the line.
That's being
Did
on
you
top
see
of your
me
game.
do that?
There you go. Car 888, gunmetal gray Corvette comes through and posts its time.
I failed to do it a second time, though.
What?
I did find the name, though. Scott Minton of Park, Kansas, in car 888, coming across the line with a speed of 131.5 miles per hour.
This is car number 11, Claire Kurz, out of Nebraska. Car 816, beautiful maroon color.
Car number 816, which is
So Claire Kurz coming from Palmer, Nebraska.
time of 140.
Claire, who recently retired from farming, married to Deb. They have 3 grown children and 7 grandkids, and posting a speed here of 141.9 miles per hour.
Here comes Gavin Hagen's favorite car, the yellow Dodge Viper, car 204, in the half-mile posts a time of 146.7.
Car number 204, Ryan.
Car number 204, driven by Ryan Furstenau, as he comes across and posts a speed of 146.7 miles per hour.
Next up is Carrie Burns of Columbus.
Here comes a great-looking coupe. This Porsche goes across. Car number 450, 122.9 on the speedometer, and speed reading across the finish line.
Try to get you some information on 450, driven by Carrie Burns of Columbus, Nebraska. Posted in our book as a rookie driver this year.
Well,
Speed
welcome.
Speed 122.9.
Here comes our first challenger, car number 52 with that burnt orange look. Gets 122.2.
Car number 52, driven by Jeffrey Bernard of Laramie, Wyoming. Placed second in the 85-mile-an-hour class in the loop-to-loop race a year ago.
Next up is car number
And was also second in the shootout in the half mile as far as matching speeds were concerned a year ago.
Car 749, an all-black vehicle, comes through and posts a speed of 133 miles an hour.
133 miles an hour for the 2014 BMW. Next up is car number 53, Michael Metzger of North Platte, Nebraska. He's driving a 20.
Michael Metzger coming up next on the line, as Metzger currently running his half-mile shootout opening run. And Metzger able to come across in a speed of 109.3 miles per hour.
And that's one of the other SUVs that you see. A white Ford Explorer comes across.
Michael Metzger from North Platte, Nebraska, not too far away, making it to the half-mile and 1-mile shootout event today.
Car 301 coming across in a half-mile next, a time, or a speed rather, of 125.1.
Car driven by Jack Martin of Hutchinson, Kansas.
Here we've got our first pickup, Chevy pickup coming through here. It's got a little something going on under the hood. Truck number 606 goes 117.1.
Joe Hackney in number 606 coming across to post a speed of 117.1 miles per hour.
Ray Smellick in the 2000.
Here comes the next pickup.
Number 300 is next.
This is a diesel pickup, an F-250 coming through. Probably weighs more than any of the other vehicles in competition, and the passenger waves as they go by. There goes truck number 300.
Ray Smellick of Lincoln, Nebraska driving it.
That'll be a speed of 96.
That pickup, one of 3 that they have brought to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge over the years.
Car number 308.
Says that participating in the venue of events has been one of the highlights of his life. Nice to have Ray back for the event in 2021.
Hey, if you're a truck guy, you're a truck guy. Here comes car number 308, and we're familiar with that number because it is the area code of Central Nebraska, and 308 goes 108.3.
And that one driven by the Tejon boys out of Halsey, Nebraska.
Next car up is David Wag of Watertown,
They were among those that competed yesterday in the loop-to-loop race. Nice to have them here in the half-mile shootout today as well.
Here comes our next Mustang, car 102, gray Mustang, coming through and posting a 129.9.
David Wag of Watertown, South Dakota. That's where my wife's dad lives. If he hears me say Watertown, he's going to go, what? Watertown, South Dakota. Nice to have David with us today.
Here comes a Chevy Corvair, a 1966. Car number 690. Goes 132.3 on his first of 3 runs here.
Car number 690, driven by Bob Brownell of Laramie, Wyoming. And that's one of the things that I love, is looking at where all of these folks are from. Boy, they come from all over the country, folks, to participate in this event.
Here comes our first Subaru of the competition, or I should say Subaru Impreza anyway. Car number 49 goes 106.3.
And I might have trouble on the first name of this one. Lyrell Holt?
Lyrell, I believe.
Lyrell? Okay, Lyrell Holt of Kansas making that run that we just saw.
Working our way through the half mile, here comes our next car. Car 366, a black Challenger, comes through at 140.1. That's up there in the fastest times we've seen here in the half mile.
Car number 366, driven by Robert Dietrich of Franklin, Tennessee, making the journey to central Nebraska for the event today.
I hear a supercharger on this one. Here comes the Hornadays. Car 205, our second Challenger in a row, goes 146.5. The Challengers came to play here today. That one was cooking.
Yeah, Jason Hornady of Grand Island, Nebraska. He's been in this event before. Last year posted speeds of 139.6 and 142.4 in the half-mile shootout.
The Corvette wearing number 2 on its side. A soft-top Corvette. The top is up today, though, as they go 141.8. I would imagine that the wind would be a little bit crazy with the top down at 141 miles an hour.
That was Bruce Younglove out of Blaine, Minnesota. Bruce making a return to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge here in 2021.
Here comes a Ford Fiesta hatchback, car number 164. Comes through and posts a speed just over 100 miles an hour at 105.4.
Car number 164, driven by David Sanderson of Glidden, Iowa. Last year in the half-mile shootout, posted speeds of 106.7 and 106.5, so he knows how to match speeds.
Car 94, a gray Corvette, comes through and posts a speed of 149.8, and I believe, yes, that is our fastest time to this point here in the half mile.
Zeke Peterson from Brubel, Nebraska.
Samer Damer of Parkville, Missouri. He's driving a 2018 Chevy Camaro.
Samer Damer up next in car 173, a beautiful white and black Chevy Camaro. 128.3.
That's an official speed of 128.3 miles an hour. Car 87, Ron Helmer of Platte City, Missouri is next. He's driving a 2015 Chevy Corvette.
Chevy Corvette coming up next. Same color as the previous car, same make, different model. Car number 87 comes across at 144.2, and we'll write that down and keep note of that because we've got 2 more runs coming up later on today in the half mile that he will try to match.
Car number 87, driven by Ron Helmer of Platte City, Missouri.
Jeff Fritz of Olathe, Kansas. He's driving a 2017 Aston Martin.
Here comes an Aston Martin. That's a luxury car, but they've got plenty of engine behind them. Car 713 goes 135.5. I don't know what the price tag is on a car like that, but it's high.
Jeff Kreutz of Olathe, Kansas, driving that car as he comes across in a speed of 135.5 miles an hour. And in our information booklet provided to us, listed as a rookie driver to the event.
Lime green Dodge Charger comes through now. Number 19 on the side. 113.8 is the speed that is shown at Daco.
Car number 19 driven by Clint McKenzie from McCook, Nebraska.
Here comes our next Mustang. It's all black, car 923. Sounds good as it drives by, and the speed looks good too. 131.1 is the speed there for car 923.
Car number 923 driven by Jerry Apps of Ranch, Colorado. We have a few that make the trip from Colorado to participate in this event. Nice to have Jerry with us today.
Bright red Corvette coming through, car 113 across the line at 121 flat. Would like to think that those flat speeds are a little bit easier to hit consistently. That might serve him well down the line.
Car number 113 driven by Brock Anderson, who's not too far away, lives in Gothenburg, Nebraska, competing in the half-mile shootout today.
Got lots of sound coming from this next Camaro. Late 70s or 80s Camaro wearing 313 on the side, goes 136.2.
That's James Luby of Beaver Crossing, Nebraska, listed as a rookie driver to the event this year. Welcome, James, and usually when you compete for one time, you keep coming back. So I have a feeling we'll see James again next year.
Comes our next Dodge four-door, car number 28, goes 130.5.
Car number 28, Ralph Johnson of Waukene, Kansas, making his opening run here in the half-mile shootout.
Charlie Bosselman, car number 38 of Grand.
Here comes Charlie Bosselman. You heard us say earlier that he was the matching speed winner in the half-mile last year. This year driving that newer Mustang. Lets off the gas, taps the brakes a little bit going across the finish line and hits 125.4. Might be some strategy involved there.
Charlie Bosselman, a very popular, or recognizable is probably a better way to say it, last name, from Grand Island, Nebraska. Charlie back with us, making his opening run here in today's half-mile shootout.
Here comes another C8 Corvette, number 85, comes through and goes 139.8.
That's Barry Conkin out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Has competed in 17 of the past Sandhills Open Road Challenge races. Been at every loop-to-loop race, and once again makes his opening run here today in the half-mile shootout.
Speaking of Corvettes, here's a recognizable name coming through. Car number 7, going 148.3, right up there in the fastest speeds we've seen here in the half mile.
And that is Kirk Sharp of Valentine, Nebraska, coming down from Valentine to compete in the half-mile shootout today.
Eric Schmidt, car number 11 of Lincoln, Nebraska. He's driving a
Here comes another Corvette. This one an 80s Corvette. He's got lots of speed. 157.8, and you hear a little bit of cheering behind us. That's our fastest speed so far here in the half mile. So congratulations to him on that. And Eric, his success has been wide.
Yeah, great opening run by Eric Schmidt. Again, Eric out of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Car 529, flat gray Corvette comes through. Also posts a really fast score of 154.4. But our fastest speed, again, was that second to last car that you saw, 157.8.
Car that just came across, Chad Christensen out of Roca, Nebraska.
Car 376, our third Corvette in a row, goes our fastest speed, 161.1.
with an official
They
speed of
typically put a little bit
161.1
faster cars at the
miles an
end of the half-mile run, and I think that looks like that was our final car to come through here in the half-mile.
Yeah, Steve Tasca from Colorado Springs, Colorado. And Steve was the one that posted the fastest time a year ago in the half-mile shootout when he got up to 177.2 miles an hour a year ago. And Steve with one of the faster runs here in the opening leg of the half-mile shootout today.
Well, the half-mile cars have gone by. Now what they'll do is they'll leave the half-mile cars down there. They'll go back to the 1 mile side of things. They'll move the starting line back. We'll see all of the 1 mile cars come through. And then we'll start our second run, at which time we'll be joined by our radio studio, and you'll be able to hear on the radio on 95.3 and KBBN as well. But those of you that are watching on the video stream are sitting in a pretty darn good place right now to watch all of this action.
Well, partner, we saw some pretty good runs in the opening leg, huh?
We did. Fastest speed was the final car that came through. That was a 161.1. Second fastest was Eric Schmidt. He was the third to last to run at 157.8. And I believe the second to last, yeah, that 154.4 that we saw from Chad Christensen, that was our third fastest speed. So our final 3 cars of the half mile gave us a lot of speed, but that will only get you a couple of the different awards. Of course, you can also go for those awards where you're trying to match speeds as well. 1 mile going to start up here soon. As we get ready for that, we want to again thank our sponsors. Here on the video side, you've seen them scrolling on your screen since the beginning, and you'll see them all the way through our broadcast today. A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, Mills Hardware and Feed, First State Insurance, the Callaway Market, Lions Appliance, Anderson Auto Tech in Broken Bow, Trotter Service, and Cobblestone Hotel and Suites, all sponsoring the action today on the video broadcast. And those of you watching are seeing the SORC corporate sponsors up on your screen right now. They include Pinnacle Bank, Optima Batteries, Blueprint Engines, Sherry La Liberty, Great Plains Communications, DeKalb Asgrow, Gateway Motors and Sandhills Motors, 444 Racing, Vero Wireless, and Hornady. Wind is kicked up. You might be able to hear it in our microphones a little bit. We've got the wind screens on, but that kind of gives you an idea. It is behind the driver, so that adds another element of challenge. So that will all right, so we're getting ready for the mile shootout. Sounds like they're going to move some folks away from the road. I think they think that they're going to have the parade of cars come back, but they don't do that until they have all of the cars come down the road. Then they bring all of the cars, mile and half mile, all the way back. So they'll get those folks moved away from the road, and then we'll be able to get started. And they're getting called out on the on the PA speakers. Yep, and they heard it, so they're going to move back, and we'll be racing here very, very soon. Again, really good crowd on hand. This is easily, I think, the biggest crowd that's been out here before. 3 rows of cars. There's a big VW bus that's got like a camping and rescue rig on top of it. That guy's got a pretty good spot sitting up on top of his car. There's a couple of racing trailers that have seating up on top. But the hill, the natural sand hill right behind us just kind of lends itself. It's like a natural bleacher set for all these trucks.
Behind the bleachers, we have T-shirts, cups, and other trinkets to commemorate the 21st annual.
Well, Brent, it's time to see what we can get out of these mile shootout cars. The mile record is 234 miles an hour. As a Lamborghini that set that record isn't here, but there are other cars that are capable of eclipsing that 200-mile-an-hour mark, I know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Of course, that's always kind of the anticipation when someone comes to this event. How fast can you go? And rarely have the folks been disappointed, especially once we get to that 1 mile shootout.
So you folks looking on your camera will see we're stretching the limits of the zoom on our camera. Right up there in the top left-hand part of your screen is the start line, which is just about a mile away. We are in from the starting line a little bit. That's why I say just about a mile away. So they'll start cruising from there. And the mile shootout allows us a little bit more time to tell you about these cars that are coming by. We'll try to hear them on the radio and give them to you right away, but also helps to see the cars go by and give you plenty of time to hear about these drivers that are coming by.
Should probably give out a vocal shout out to Gavin Higgins and Shannon Murray. They're helping us. They're kind of the ones running the video portion of the event today, so want to say thanks to them for helping us out with that. We hope that you folks have been able to enjoy the video stream up to this point. I don't know if anybody could have imagined doing a live video stream of this event out in the middle of a pasture. But thanks to Great Plains Communications, it has become possible, and we can't thank those folks enough.
We've been provided with a nice quiet generator to give us power, running all of our radio and video equipment. Got 2 cameras out by the road, a camera up here, the camera shooting over to the speed over on the hill across the way, all in an effort to give you folks the best viewing experience possible. And we see your comments flowing in. Lots of people cheering for specific people, and I don't see any questions yet. If you ever have any questions, maybe Gavin will let me know about them and we can answer your questions while we're broadcasting here. But we are starting here in the mile. And our first car is out on the track and cruising down towards our direction. It's a black Corvette wearing 811 on the side.
I think that's Mark Kapner who will make the opening run of this 1 mile shootout.
That will be an official time of 169.
And I think they said over the speaker 169.8 is what they announced.
I believe that board over there, the speed keepers send the speed up to that board. It doesn't show up automatically, so it's not coming up for some reason there for us to view. But Mark Kapner, he's the one that holds that 234-mile-an-hour record in his other car, the Lamborghini, which he doesn't have here this year. Up next, a purple Challenger. It's RT Green in 444.
Yeah, as Jeremy mentioned, RT Green, now residing in Arnold, Nebraska, making it back here to the mile and half-mile shootout event.
And we're still not getting...
Oh, are these exhibition runs? Is that what I just heard on the PA? Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because they already did the exhibition runs in the mile, and Mark Kapner was in there, and that driver didn't have a passenger.
Now you get a speed.
Okay.
That's a speed of 117.8.
Okay, 117.8 for car 25 that came through.
He ran in the exhibition run too.
Okay, so Tommy Dale Vines comes up next. These are official runs. They just said that Tommy Dale ran in the exhibitions, but now this is an official run for Tommy Dale Vines. He can get over 200. Let's see what he gives us. 179.8 for number 20, Tommy Dale Vines, who has possibly one of the greatest race car driver names I've ever heard.
Again, Tommy out of Eagle Butte, South Dakota. Been a long-time participant of the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge. and also of this 1 mile shootout event.
Our next mile shootout car is going to be a Corvette. Beautiful red color, got the parking lights on. Car 707 cruises by and hits that 160 mark, just 1/10 of a mile an hour over it at 160.1.
Speed of 160.2 miles.
What was the car number, Jeremy? I'm sorry.
707.
All right, I'll try to get some information for you. Ken Hodges of Julesburg, Colorado. 15th year of participating in the SORC events.
Chevy Corvette.
Farmer from the Julesburg, Colorado area. Have a love for fast Corvettes, and you just saw one of them right there.
Speaking of fast Corvettes, here comes another one. It's car 949. Deep gray color to it, almost a black. And it goes 151.4.
Levi Durnall of Meade, Nebraska, coming to the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge and the 1 mile shootout here today.
Again, we're just 6 cars in to the mile shootout here. First of 3 runs. They can go for fastest speed or they can go for matching time or matching speeds. There goes car number 8, a red Corvette. At 185.3, that's our fastest speed we've seen all day so far.
Speed of 185.3. John. Car number 48, Denny Powell of Wichita.
Denny
Kansas.
Powell
He's driving
coming up
the
next, car number
22
48.
Corvette.
Again, this Denny's first run. Didn't run in the exhibition, so this is truly his first time going down this 1 mile shootout track in his gray Corvette. Denny goes 157.6.
Denny from Wichita, Kansas.
That's an official
Longtime
time.
participant of the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge.
Miles an hour.
Competed in the 105 mile an hour class in the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge race a year ago. Placed 7th at the SORC race a year ago.
Hanshu of Wichita, Kansas.
Kevin Hanshu up next.
2003 Chevy Corvette today.
Car number 59. He's got a Corvette as well, wants to show off the speed. He comes across at 158.4.
Kevin from Wichita, Kansas, shows here that he competed in the half-mile shootout a year ago and was really good at matching speeds, went on runs of 133.8 and 134.3 from a year ago. Now this year in the 1 mile shootout event.
Car number 515, Kevin Kapner.
Kevin Kapner up next, car number 515. Beautiful blue Corvette. Lets you hear the sound of its people. 169.1
That's a speed of
as it comes across.
Kevin from Pocatello, Idaho. Last year in the big race, or no, excuse me, in the loop-to-loop race a year ago, Kevin actually won the 95 mile an hour class in the loop-to-loop a year ago. And again, posting a solid speed in the opening leg of the 1 mile shootout today.
Here comes, I believe, our first Camaro of the mile shootout. White and black, 667. Comes across and hits 162 flat.
Gary from Blair, Nebraska.
Speed of 162.0 for Gary.
Said that his only competition driving has been through a professional driving school, so he brings the skills that he learned there to the 1 mile shootout here today.
Car 777 coming up next. This is Jack Jones. He's spinning the tires and missed a gear a little bit there in the middle. He comes in his Dodge Viper, and he's having some trouble there as he comes across at 132.5. Sounds like about halfway down he missed a gear and or spun the tires and then just really couldn't get things hooked up again. So We'll see if he just tries to go faster on his next two runs or if he tries to slow down and hit that original 132.5.
Jack Jones from Mondamin, Iowa, making the journey to central Nebraska this year.
Next car coming down the track and coming over the crest of the hill there for you is a red Dodge Viper 321, the second Viper in a row. Comes across the finish line at a speed of 152.5 miles an hour.
Car number 321, that's Jim Miller of North Platte, Nebraska. Jim from North Platte, fourth time running in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Mark Squarick of Merritt Island, Florida.
Here comes a driver just announced as being out of Florida. Well, this is a very cool car. This is a Pantera, a 1973 Pantera. One of the very first cars to have that engine behind the driver and passenger back in 1973.
That was Mark Squarick of Island, Florida, making the journey all the way to the middle of Nebraska and posting a run of 165.7 miles an hour in his opening run here at the 1 mile shootout.
A 1994 Mazda Miata coming up next. Now this is a very, very small car. Most of the car is got its length tied up in the hood. Lots of engine and a big wing on this one. Car number 724, a cool flat gray color. It goes 133.4 miles an hour on the first run of 3 here in the 1 mile shootout.
Shanda Gronseth of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, in car number 724. Last year competed in the half-mile shootout and was really good in matching speeds in the 2 runs that they were allowed to have a year ago, posting speeds of 104.9 and 104.3. That was in the half-mile shootout a year ago, and we'll see how the rest of the 1 mile shootout goes for them today.
Car 625 is a beautiful red Corvette. You see the antenna there on the back, bent back as they speed by. 157.3 is the speed for the red Corvette.
Car number 625, Ryan Rusher of Yankton, South Dakota.
From Allen, Texas. He's driving the 2015.
That's another good racer name, Ryan Rusher.
There you go.
On the track.
And I think sometimes with him will be the navigator Brad Wheelhouse. How's that, huh?
Yeah, that's quite the duo of racing names there. Car 290, a maroon Corvette, comes through and posts a 164 flat.
Car 290, that'll be Mike Hill of Allen, Texas. We get several that come up from Texas to participate in this event. Of course, I think you have road races that take place in Texas, and so people get introduced to it there, and then in the past several years have made it up to Nebraska to participate in this event.
Mr. Ewalt from Blair, Nebraska, coming this direction now, and a Challenger all black wearing 433 on the side. It's a 157.1 speed for him.
As Jeremy mentioned, that's Cam Ewalt of Blair, Nebraska, competing in the shootout here today. Just over 157 miles per hour on his opening leg.
Just heard that our next car is going to be a Chevy Corvette. If you folks haven't figured out. Okay, they were changing who it was, but it is still a Corvette, one of the more popular cars that you'll see here at the shootout and loop-to-loop and Sork races. This is car 211. 150.7 is the speed.
That's John Shuda from Grove, Illinois, competing here today. John had a real good showing in the loop-to-loop race a year ago where he got second in the 95-mile-an-hour class. Of course, the loop-to-loop was held between Halsey and Purdom, Nebraska yesterday.
Wayne Hora up next from Stapleton, Nebraska. He didn't have to drive far to get here. Car number 5 goes by and hits a speed of 164.9.
Yeah, Wayne out of Stapleton, as Jeremy mentioned. Back for the 21st time. That means he's been here every year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Says he hopes to repeat 3 perfect passes in the 1 mile shootout and, of course, seeing his once-a-year racing friends. So we'll see how Wayne's able to do on his next 2 runs and see if he's able to kind of equal what he did in run number 1.
Comes our next car. This is a Mustang. It's kind of got that red-orange color. It's car number 462. And it hits 150.4 miles an hour.
Jason Rader from Lincoln, Nebraska. This will be his 10th year competing at the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge. Says all summer they look forward to this event and hanging out with their friends in Arnold, Nebraska.
Well, you get that a lot in those bios, don't you?
Yes.
It's just as much about the racing as it is about the friends they've made in Arnold and all throughout Custer County. It's our next Dodge Charger. 4-door, but plenty of power under the hood. 146.7.
That's Tim Zimmerman of Sandy, Utah. Says he was car shopping and bought the Charger on a whim. Man, I would love to just go buy a Charger on a whim. That'd be great. Great to have you here, Tim. Good opening run.
We've got a Corvette coming down the course next. We're working our way deeper into the mile shootout. Again, folks, stick around as we get into our second and third runs of the morning and into the afternoon. We'll integrate the drone into the shots for you. 155 flat is the time there for the maroon Corvette.
That's Brian Meslanka from Lincoln. Said he heard how much fun the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge was from a friend that participated, and he couldn't wait any longer. He had to sign up and get involved. So Brian, great to have you here again from Lincoln, Nebraska.
This is one of my favorite cars. It's a old Crown Victoria. Love these vehicles. He's cruising. The 4-door Crown Vic goes 162.9. And there's a few claps from the crowd behind us too. They like the older cars as well.
That looks a lot different than the Crown Vic that I grew up in, that my mom and dad had.
Yeah, that one didn't have a big wing on the back of it.
Yeah, I think it went faster too. Danny Sparling drove that from Cedar Bluffs, Virginia.
Next car missed a gear right over there by that hill. He gets it caught back up. He's flying. Car 86 cruises by at 162.9. And that either exactly equaled the previous speed or they put the last speed back up. But either way, it's showing 162.9 right now.
That was Daniel Manis of Barryton, Kansas, racing in the 1 mile shootout. Daniel got second in the 110 mile an hour class in the loop-to-loop race a year ago. Of course, this is the second of the 3 main events now that are a part of the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge activities.
Woo! 177.8. That car wanted to talk over you a little bit, Brian.
I think so. That was car 333, was it not?
Yep, it
Okay.
was. He's got a great first name, if I'm remembering right.
Oh boy, yeah, here we go. Jeremy happens to be his first name. Jeremy Gosson of Papillion, Nebraska, making that run in the 1 mile shootout. Your name's Jeremy, isn't it?
It is,
That's
yeah.
what I
It's
thought.
not short for
No.
Jeremiah. Don't even go there.
How do you pronounce your last name? Is it Shippey?
Oh
or
my
Shipe?
gosh, stop it. Here comes car 73, the all-black Mustang. goes 134.1.
Carl Hansen there out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, making that run. As you see, 134.1 miles per hour.
Next, we've got a Michigan car. Mr. Harvey coming down the road here. And a lot of these drivers, they'll drive their car. They don't put it on a trailer to come here. They take a lot of pride in the fact that they drive these vehicles to compete. So some of the folks between Michigan and here probably saw this one cruising down the road. Car 101. 133.9 is the speed for the Michigan driver.
That's Bill Harvey of South Lyon, Michigan. Excited to be back to Arnold, he says. This will be his 6th year here. Came first in 2016 as a spectator, was instantly sold on the event, and now a participant.
Next, we've got a Ford Mustang, a 2016, coming out of South Dakota. So a couple of drivers coming from out of state to compete here in the shootout. Beautiful white Mustang. 149.9, and he let off there at the end, so easily would have been into the 150s, but there's a lot of strategy going on here if they want to try to hit the same speed 3 times in a row.
Yeah, another South Dakota driver there, Greg Erlinson. Greg from Rapid City, South Dakota.
Car number 613, Rob Wilson of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I believe I heard car 613. This is another Corvette coming down. This one's definitely in Super Street because I hear that supercharger going. That seemed pretty fast, and it was 173.6. He was cooking.
That's Robert Wilson coming up from Tulsa, Oklahoma to participate in the 1-mile shootout today. Boy, just amazing again at just from where all of these folks travel from to participate in this event. And that really also speaks to the way this event has really grown in its popularity, especially for those who like to road race.
Here comes our next Chevy Camaro. It's got the gray American flag on the side. Car 566 goes 160.8.
That's David Mathis coming all the way from Arizona, Phoenix.
James Clay.
And I'm going to refrain from breaking into singing by the time I get to Phoenix. I want to, but I'm not going to do it. You're welcome.
I'm glad you refrained. Not that you are a beautiful singer, but I like your rendition of Happy Birthday the most. Car 36 goes by. Lets off a little bit at the end, but goes 158.2.
Is that car 36?
Is
that what that was?
Believe. I either said 36 or 56.
I think James Clay. So we've got the name. We don't have a bio on James as far as where he's from, but that'll put a name to the car for you.
2017 Ford Mustang coming up next. It'll make its way over the crest of the hill. Seems like the road is very, very smooth and is running well for these guys. 426 for the blue Mustang. He goes 157.5.
That's an official speed of 157.6.
426 driven by Doug Jones, another South Dakota driver with us. Doug of Ipswich, South Dakota. Was the winner in the 105-mile-an-hour class in the loop-to-loop race a year ago. Again, 3 main activities now, a part of SORC, the loop-to-loop, which was run yesterday, the shootout today, and then, of course, the big race tomorrow, the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Will you sing Heart's Barracuda? Because there goes one. Car 500 goes 156.4.
Ooh, Barracuda. How's that?
Oh, not as good as Hart.
Okay. Was that 500?
Yep.
All right, John Huff, Casper, Wyoming.
Car 186, Brent Culp Our very own from Arnold, Nebraska.
All right, we've got an Arnold native coming up next, Brent Culp.
Brent was my neighbor at one time.
You had...
He's got a good first name, too.
Yeah, that's what I knew you were going to say. Brent and Brent were neighbors. Here he comes in his 90s Camaro. We'll see what your ex-neighbor can post. 151.5.
Yeah, Brent and Heidi Culp, right here in Arnold, Nebraska. Had a good showing in the half-mile shootout a year ago. Were very good at matching speeds in the 2 runs that they had a year ago, going 132.9 and 133.4. That was in the half-mile shootout that they competed in a year ago.
Another Arnold native coming up next, Jeff Preston. Was he your neighbor too, Brent?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Here comes Jeff in his Mustang from Arnold, Nebraska. He goes 155.8.
I think I remember broadcasting some of Jeff's games, though, when he was in high school.
Oh, now you're dating yourself.
I'm getting old. You know, it's really been kind of fun to see, you know, the way this event has impacted Arnold, Nebraska. You see a lot of folks from right in the Arnold area who are now competing in this event, like Brent, like Jeff.
Well, and
that's
RT
kinda
Green,
cool to see.
RT Green relocated
Yeah.
to live in Arnold. He fell in love with Sork in the area so much. There goes car number 9, 185.4. Wow. There come the collapse.
Dave Smith of Gothenburg, Nebraska.
He's got an engine under that Corvette hood. Wow. Sounds like we're going to have a little bit of a break. Was it, they said they're putting gloves on the driver? Okay, so that driver came up, wasn't completely ready to go. So we'll have a small break here in the action in the 1 mile shootout. Gives us a good opportunity to thank our sponsors here on the video side of things. They include Cobblestone Hotel and Suites, Trotter Service, Lines Appliance, Anderson Auto Tech in Broken Bow, Callaway Market, First State Insurance, Mills Hardware and Feed, and A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, all helping us bring this video coverage to you folks. You see them scrolling on your screen throughout the broadcast today. Comes our next driver. Skipped a little bit of a gear there, but gets a hold of it. Will speed up here again as he comes up over the crest of the hill. This guy is hauling. This is that Speedway Motors pickup truck. Seems like he's trying to hit a certain speed. He's fluttering the gas. He let off it a lot and hit 140.5. I would think that if he really stabbed into that thing, he probably could have eclipsed 180 easily. But that car comes across and hits 140.5.
Well, we don't have a bio on the car and the driver, but I can try to check the name and give that to you at least. Matt Voss, listed as the driver of car number 720.
I believe that's a Speedway Motors sponsored car, and a lot of the time they show up and run a car, but don't really know until close to the event whether or not they're going to be able to make it. Here comes a cool looking BMW. Car 383 comes through and goes 131 flat.
383, that's Michael Rasmussen of Plattsmouth, Nebraska. Michael's third year competing, as he was the driver of a Volvo S40 in one of the previous races. Now back with us here for the 1 mile shootout.
Here comes a 1986 Corvette. Next in the 1 mile shootout. I allotted myself 50 spaces and I'm getting low on spaces here, so we'll see how many more 1 mile cars we have come through. There goes car 84 at 139.5.
84, another one of those cars we don't have a bio on, but let's try to give you a name at least, and I can't even do that. Oh yeah, here we go. 84, Dave Wallace, listed as the driver of car number 84.
Here comes a car that I've owned 2 of, a Pontiac Grand Prix, car number 32, out on the track. And this one sounds a little bit louder than mine was. This is basically a NASCAR vehicle. Here he comes. Yeah, mine didn't look like that. That's a 157.9.
Car number 32, that would be Bill Schneider of Malcolm, Nebraska. Back with us for the shootout this year. Posted a speed a year ago of 130.1. Faster than that this year.
And that is technically a 2006 Pontiac Grand Prix, but I would think he's running in the Unlimited because that is not a street legal vehicle. This is car 65. In the 65 Mustang, it's going to be the loudest one you folks hear today. Always a crowd favorite. Nick Ekberg goes 157.7.
And Nick and Lyle Eckbert of Wakefield, Nebraska, they are no strangers to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. I think that they are one of those groups that have been here for every single one, and it's great to have them back as they make their opening run of the 1 mile shootout here this morning.
All right, and I believe we have our final car of the mile shootout coming up here. And then what they'll do is they'll go down to the other side. All of the cars that have been waiting down there since the very beginning. Oh, that was the last car, Gavin said. Okay. I've got headphones on. I can't hear a thing. That was our final car. So now they'll go down. They'll turn around. All of the cars will come by. This is really one of the coolest parts. Of course, the speeds are awesome, but what they do is they kind of have a parade of cars as they drive back by. They invite all the folks that are here watching and all the kids to come up and stand by the fence and wave at the cars as they go by. So we'll have our second runs coming up in the half mile and mile. And as we get ready for those second runs, we do want to let you know that you will be able to listen to the second and third run, as you have always been able to do, on KBBN 95.3 FM on your radio dial and on kbbn.com as well. And we'll have that available to you so that you can check it out on the radio if you'd like, if you're not able to continue watching the video stream. We're also really excited. We're going to start integrating the drone footage here for the second and third runs. That should be pretty cool.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, the kids from Central Nebraska Streaming are going to be showing some different drone angles.
They going to let me run the drone?
I don't think so.
Shannon's over here shaking her head. There's no chance.
Shannon says no way.
I wouldn't even want to.
I've flown one thing in my life. It was radio controlled. I asked for a remote control airplane for like 6 years in a row for Christmas, and my grandma got me one finally. And I tell you what, I put a good solid 8 seconds of flight time on that baby before I drove it 3 feet into the ground. So I haven't touched anything like that since. So we'll leave it to those guys. Luke Bell is actually going to be flying the drone for us, giving you that footage. And congratulations to him. He actually went through all of the FAA training in order to become a licensed drone pilot.
Wow.
He's licensed and insured, and he's going to be giving us some great things to look at from the sky. It's a very intense course. There's a lot of studying to do. He studied throughout the summer and took that course a couple of weeks ago, as I understand it, and ended up passing that course so that he can fly drones in about every capacity that is made available. So that is awesome to hear, and we're happy to have him out here helping out at the shootout races. So we look forward to integrating that great video footage into our broadcast as well.
Will they be there tomorrow too? Or is it just today?
Just today for the drones, as far as the stream goes. Might be something that we expand on as we go forward in the years ahead. There will be drones flying around tomorrow. As I understand it, the team from Optima Batteries is going to be at the starting line of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge again. and they've got some very, very good drone pilots. They fly the racing drones that go around, and they fly within like 2 feet of the wheels of the cars when they're doing burnouts and stuff like that. It's truly impressive. It won't be integrated into our stream, but it will be in some of the videos that they release following the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge here in the year 2021. So as we have a moment here before the cars start coming by, we're just going to go ahead and step away for a moment, and when we come back, we will have some more action for you. I'm waiting on a text message from the studio so that we know that we are hooked up and live on the radio, but for now, we'll just go ahead and step away from our microphones for a second as we get ready for the second and third runs of the shootout as a part of the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge 2021.
And Henry's Bar in Callaway. You're listening to the voice of Sork. Let's go trackside with Jeremy and Brent.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Welcome, everybody, to just a beautiful morning here in central Nebraska. We are on the county road between Callaway and Cozad as we are continuing with the action of the half-mile and 1 mile shootout as we continue coverage of the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge events. now on KBBN Radio, 95.3 FM, also on the web at kbbn.com. We have just completed the first and opening run of the half-mile and 1 mile shootout, as the cars now have turned around and they're headed back the other direction to get lined up once again and get ready to go with their second run. Of course, the plan is to go with 3 runs in both the half-mile and 1 mile shootout events, and that is kind of where we're at right now as the cars are making their way back to the starting line. Brent Apperson and Jeremy Scheib here with you this morning. Jeremy, great to be alongside you. I thought we had a very smooth and great opening run for the half-mile and 1 mile shootout, and now something that quite frankly is almost as much fun as the racing of the shootout. It's when the cars turn around and basically just parade past us and go back to the starting line. Kind of a neat event.
Yeah, it gives you an opportunity to see the cars going a lot slower than they normally are. Everyone that's here in attendance and watching in person gets to go out and wave to the cars. All the kids get to see them up close, and you know, you can't help but think that some of these kids that are out here that love this kind of stuff will one day be racing down the line in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, maybe in, you know, year 60. Who knows? It's a great thing, and we welcome all of you that now join us on the radio. If you're listening to us on the radio and you think, hey, I want to go and watch these cars, we have a video stream going on our Facebook page, which is Sandhills Express, and on our YouTube page, it is titled KCNI/KBBN. We've been hanging out here waiting for the cars to go back to the starting line. They'll do the half mile, then they'll move back and do the mile runs. The second run of 3 upcoming here very shortly. Been kind of glancing at the comments on the videos. There in the first run, we do say every single number and give as much information as available to us in the book, but that goes a little bit smoother with runs 2 and 3. We don't get a sheet of the order of the cars handed to us in advance like we do for the other 2 races. So when we are seeing the cars go by for the first time, it is truly our first time seeing them go by. So that is why sometimes the number is a little bit delayed. Sometimes we read it after the car goes by because we're just seeing it for the first time. So that'll get a little bit better here in the second and third runs. Just wanted to hit on that. Saw that in the comments there. We're doing as much as we can for you up here. We've got 4 people back to butt up here in the scaffold.
Well, I tell you what, it is a great view, and
it's gorgeous.
I think that this is a good opportunity for us to send out some thank yous. And first off, to the SORT committee and the people who volunteer and work with the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, putting up this scaffolding for us to stand on and get such a great look at what is happening today for not just our video broadcast, but just for Jeremy and I to be able to look and see and describe the action to you here today. Also, big thanks to Great Plains Communications. This still is amazing to me. We are right in the middle of a pasture. That's where we're at. And somehow, some way, we have been provided with internet capability, and that is all through Great Plains Communications. Really neat at the way that they have put this setup together to where we can do a video stream of this event. I'm still kind of amazed by that, Jeremy.
It is amazing. They've essentially provided us with fiber internet that's faster than some skyscrapers in Omaha have running their entire company. It's amazing, and we can't thank Great Plains Communications enough. And you'll see their name pop up with all of the other sponsors of SORC throughout the broadcast today. You saw them yesterday, and you'll see them tomorrow. SORC has a lot of great corporate sponsors that help them out an immense amount on all of the things of SORC. They put forth their money. Many of them put forth some volunteers that help out. It's a team effort to make SORC happen in the 21st year. And those of you that are watching the stream are seeing those SORC sponsors. They include Pinnacle Bank, Optima Batteries, Blueprint Engines, Shirley La Liberty, Great Plains Communications, DeKalb and Asgrow, Gateway Motors and Sandhills Motors of Broken Bow, RT Green with 444 Racing, Viero Wireless, and Hornady, all the corporate sponsors of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. And now, Brent, that we are on the radio as well, we should thank our radio sponsors again. Thank you to our gold sponsors, the Exchange in Arnold, A1 Auto Repair, and Mills Hardware and Feed. Our silver sponsors on the radio include the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Grazer's Bar and Grill, BD Broken Bow, Fixed Right Auto Body, First Aid Insurance, Shotgun Annie's Saloon and Grill, Wenquist Incorporated, Reed's Food Center, Trotter Service, Trumbull Repair and Towing, State Farm Insurance Agent Donna Cahill, and Henry's Bar in Callaway. We also have some bronze sponsors. Now, you won't hear them during the radio broadcast, but you will hear them throughout the Sandhills Open Road Challenge days because they sponsor interviews with the drivers that you will hear on our radio stations. Those bronze sponsors include J.R. Meyer Insurance, the Callaway Market, Anderson Auto Tech, Agribest Feeds, Pinnacle Bank, Ferreter Auto Parts, The Corner Stop, Four County Boutique, Bierman Vet Services, Broken Boat Legends Neighborhood Grill, Rod's Body and Paint, Muddy Creek Auto, Nebraska State Bank, Sandhills Motors, and Govier Brothers Mortuary and the Arnold and Mullen Funeral Homes. Well, everyone is moving back. That, to me, indicates that all of the cars have made their way back to the starting line, and pretty soon here we're going to get started with racing action. Well, let's go ahead now that we're connected on the radio. Let's take a 30-second timeout, and when we come back, we'll have racing action for you on the Thunderbird KBBN 95.3 and our streaming platforms, Facebook and YouTube.
The Exchange in Arnold is to feed you. With hours of 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. anytime, you can swing in and find something delicious. They serve breakfast daily from 6:30 until 10, and make sure you go in and check out the lunch specials too. They have fresh made Piccadilly Circus pizzas and subs, and their 1/3 pound burgers are hand patted. Of course, snacks are there too with fresh baked cookies, chocolate chip cookie bars, cinnamon rolls, muffins, and snickerdoodle cookies at the Exchange in Arnold.
And welcome back. We are getting ready for our half-mile run, and then we'll have our full-mile run. Let's do a little strategizing here live on the air, Brent. That's the best kind of strategizing, right? I'm just going to hold this forward to you so that you can look ahead and see what cars are coming up.
All right.
And then I'll just write the speeds. So you got the car number and the driver number on there. So here in the half-mile, we'll start with Robbie Smith. Car number 4 is going to be the first one you'll be seeing coming down. They're getting a couple of more spectators away from the fence here. We've still got some folks out closer to the finish line, which is where I would think you would want people definitely to get away.
Well, while we wait for the second run of the half-mile and then the 1-mile shootout, give us an opportunity to remind you that we will have live coverage of the big race tomorrow of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, and as I mentioned that, we have our first car come across, and that is Robbie Smith of Arnold, Nebraska. Robbie posting a speed, that run of 140 miles an hour even.
Well, and that applies to his last run, too. He hit it on the dot.
That's pretty good.
That is. Here comes the Lamborghini. Car number 40, Darren Brewer, had a 147.6 the first round, and a 148.3 here in the second round.
Darren from Gretna, Nebraska, a native Nebraskan, making his way to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge this year. Darren posting a speed of 148.3 miles an hour on his second run. Again, this is the half-mile shootout. We'll follow with the 1-mile shootout here today.
Here comes car number 83, went 93.9 the first time around. There goes a 93.8. So that's pretty good for Keith Bisson in car 83.
Keith from Palo, Iowa. And of course, that is one of the things that some of the drivers will try to do. They give out awards for how well you can match your speeds, with all 3 runs here at this event.
There goes Trent Zesson in car 866, had a 132.8 the first time, now a 132.3. They say 132.4 over the loudspeaker. They show 132.3 though.
Car number 866, driven by Trenton Zesson of Malcolm, Nebraska.
Here's John Slack, car number 51, had a 101.4 the first time in his Subaru. 106.5, much faster that time around.
John coming to us out of Bennington, Nebraska, making his second run of this half-mile shootout. Again, each participant will get 3 runs. We'll be watching how fast they go, but then also watching how well they can match their speed from their previous runs.
Here comes car number 91. Now they said a different name on the loudspeaker than what I believe we have in our program. So that is 115.3 the first round, and then a 122.2 that second round.
Jay Hill.
Yeah, I think Zach Rustad is driving.
Colorado. He's driving a 2016 Chevy Corvette.
Comes a Corvette, car 221, bright yellow Corvette. Goes 143.1 there in the second round to go with the 141.1 from the first round.
Car number 221, Jay Hill of Brighton, Colorado. They've owned their Corvette for 4.5 years. Says this is their second year to experience the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Here comes our first SUV of the second round. This is Adam Rogers, car 33. Goes 117.4. Pretty darn close to what he did in the first round, but he hit 116.5 in that first round, so just a little bit faster.
Adam, another driver from the Colorado area, coming to us today. Adam from Durango.
Insurance company would really appreciate that. Thank you.
Here comes Chad Smith, car 302.
Chadwick Smith, car 302 of Alliance, Nebraska.
123.8 is his speed.
He has a speed of
Also went faster than the first round, in which he went 118.1 in his yellow Mustang.
Yeah, Chad from Alliance, as Jeremy mentioned, with us today. A pilot for a UPS contractor is Chad, competing here at the half-mile shootout.
There goes Scott Minton in car 888, a 131.5 in the first run, a 132.1 in the second run as we get ready to go to the next car.
888 driven by Scott Minton of Park, Kansas, coming up from Kansas to join us for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Here's Claire Kurz in car 816, a beautiful maroon Corvette. Goes by at 142.2 miles an hour, just barely off of the first round score and speed of 141.9.
Claire recently retired from farming and allowing him to do more things like this, I would guess. Claire from Palmer, Nebraska.
Here's Ryan Firstenau, car 204, that beautiful yellow Dodge Viper, 146.9, just 0.2 of a mile an hour faster than his first run of 146.7.
Ryan from Neely, Nebraska. Looking forward again to the experience of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge here for the 11th year. Says he made his first run in the loop-to-loop race yesterday. Now back competing at the shootout today.
There goes the Porsche of Kerry Burns, car number 450, 122.9 was his first round. 125.4 is the second round speed.
Kerry from Columbus, Nebraska, and Kerry is one of those drivers that is posted in our program as a rookie driver, having their first experience with SORC in 2021.
In the Challenger, Jeffrey Bernard in car number 52, 122.7 to go with the 122.2 of the first round.
Jeffrey coming down from Laramie, Wyoming to compete in the shootout today.
Here's Lynn Klager, car 749. Had a 133 flat the first time out. We'll see what Lynn's able to put together. A 132.7.
Lynn, another one of our Colorado drivers. Lynn also listed as a rookie driver for 2021. Lynn out of Colorado Springs.
Metzger of North Platte, Nebraska.
North Platte driver coming up next in that Ford Explorer. Much faster than they come off of the lot at, though. There goes Michael Metzger. And Michael gets a 110.3, so exactly 1 mile an hour faster than run number 1.
110.3.
Cars staying in order pretty well here in the half mile. Sometimes you never know if they get out of order on the other side. If someone had to stop for a bathroom break or something like that, they might not come back in the same order, but they are this time around as car 301 goes by. 1 mile an hour off there as well. 1 mile an hour slower at 124.1.
301 driven by Jack Martin of Hutchinson, Kansas. Coming up for Sork this year.
Now you might hear in the background they're announcing different speeds than what we are showing on the screen. We're just taking down what is on the screen. The official times might be slightly different. And we've both got headsets on, so we can't always hear those. As car number 606, or truck I should say, that Chevy goes by and hits 117.5 with Joe Hackney.
Yeah, Joe Hackney from Kansas, listed as another one of our rookie drivers here at Sork this year. So making his first appearance at the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge, and I'm guessing having a ball.
Here's Ray Smellick, second truck in a row. This is a diesel truck, an F-250, waving as they go by again. That's a 97.1 for them after hitting a 96.4 in the first round.
Yeah, Ray from Lincoln, Nebraska. That one of the 3 vehicles that he's brought to the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge over the years. And like so many, he wants to thank all of the people that make this such a tremendous event.
Here comes our first Camaro of the half mile, car 308. Matt Tehan from Halsey goes 111.9. 108.3 is what he went in the first round.
Yeah, Matt and Mike, as Jeremy mentioned, out of Halsey, Nebraska. They raced in the loop-to-loop race yesterday between Halsey and Purdom, now taking part in the half-mile shootout.
Comes car 102, David Wag. Puts in his second speed of 127.5 to go with the 129.9 he had there in the first round.
Another South Dakota driver with us is David. David from Watertown, South Dakota. Competed in the half-mile shootout last year where he had runs of 126 and 126.5 miles an hour.
There goes the 1966 Chevy Corvair of Bob Brownell. Car 690 goes 136. Now the speeds they're announcing over the speaker are almost consistently 1/10 of a mile an hour faster than what we're getting displayed up there on the board. So I'm going to try to listen a little bit closer to that so we can write those down. Comes car 366, Robert Dietrich, with his second run. Didn't see the number 49 of Lyra Holt come through yet. Might see him later on.
Robert coming up from Franklin, Tennessee in his Dodge Challenger to join us for the shootout today.
Here comes Jason Hornady with his Challenger, supercharged. You can hear that. 145.8 is displayed, but if it's consistent, it will be a 145.9 officially.
145.8 miles an hour.
Jason from Grand Island.
Car number 2, Bruce Younglove of Blaine, Minnesota. He has the 2008.
Here comes Bruce Younglove. He's a name we're familiar with at the Sork races. That black Corvette of Bruce goes by and hits 141.1 after having a 141.8 in the first round.
Bruce from Blaine, Minnesota, said he's been to 34 open road races since 1997 in Texas, here in Nebraska and Nevada. And he says that this Sand Hills event is always one of the races he looks most forward to.
Here comes the Ford Fiesta of David Sanderson, car 164. Goes 105.6, so a very consistent speed from his first round where he went 105.4.
That was David Sanderson of Glidden, Iowa. David did really well last year in the half mile as far as matching speeds. He only got 2 runs last year, but went 106.7 and 106.5 a year ago.
Here goes Zeke Peterson, car number 94. Goes 145.4 as it displays. And that is the official time as well. It's a little bit back and forth. Some of the official times are faster than what we're being displayed on the screen. Some of them are exactly the same, so we'll try to keep an ear on that. Here comes Seymour Damer in his Camaro. 129.3 for the white Camaro compared to the 128.3 in the first round.
Seymour Damer from Parkville, Missouri, joining us at the shootout this year.
Ron Helmer in his Corvette coming up next in car 87 at a 144.2 in the first round. Let's see what he gets. 144.7, another great speed for Ron.
Another Missouri driver joining us. Ron listed from Platte City, Missouri.
Here comes Jeff Kruitz in the Aston Martin. I believe you said last round he was a rookie driver at a 135.5 and now a 135.2.
Yeah, Jeff was listed as a rookie driver, making his first trip here to the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge events. Jeff out of Olathe, Kansas.
Clint's driving the 2007 Dodge Charger.
Clint McKenzie in his Dodge up next, car number 19. It's lime green, he can't miss it. Wants to match his 113.8. He gets a 114.
Clint will have a speed of 114.1.
Clint McKenzie from McCook, Nebraska, bringing his Dodge Charger to the event today.
Mike Gross of Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
Comes
Mike's driving the 2006 Ford Mustang.
a Mustang, car number 923. Comes across the finish line and hits 130.5 to compare to Jerry's 131.1 before.
And Michael have an official speed of 130.5. Car 113.
Michael Gross, also Jerry Apps listed with this car out of Ranch, Colorado.
Here comes Brock Anderson in his red Corvette, car 113. Went 121 flat in the first round. 125.2 is what Brock hits here in the second round.
Brock from just down the road a ways in Gothenburg, Nebraska, competing here today. You get people who come from all over and people who are just right here in the area competing.
Here comes the 79 Camaro. James Luby had a 136.2 and now gets a 136.8.
The official speed for the Camaro will be 136.9 miles.
James Luby from Beaver Crossing, Nebraska, another one of these drivers that is listed as a rookie driver, making their first appearance here at the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge activities.
And that speed actually changed to 136.9 officially as Ralph Johnson comes across. Had a 130.5 in the first round. There he gets a 130.9.
Another Kansas driver is Ralph Johnson. Waukene, Kansas is where he lists as home.
Charlie Bosselman coming up next, car number 38. He's got that Mustang that'll be headed down the track on your screen and on your radio now. Had a 125.4 in the first round. And we'll see what he gets on his second speed. 123.2.
Very recognizable last name is Bosselman, of course, from Grand Island, Nebraska. So Charlie posting a speed of 123.2 in his second run, as we're still in the half-mile shootout yet.
5 cars remaining. Here's our 5th to last car, that beautiful new Corvette of Barry Conkin. Barry goes 139.2 to almost match his 139.8 of the first round.
Have a lot of folks who come down from South Dakota to join us for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Barry is one of them, coming from Sioux Falls.
Here comes Kirk Sharp in number 7, nice and loud. 147.9. He had a 148.3 the first round.
Kirk coming down from Valentine, Nebraska to race with us today.
48 miles an hour for Kirk Sharp.
Here comes Eric Schmidt. He had our second fastest time in the half mile in the first round at 157.8. Let's see what Eric can do this time. 157.5, 0.3 of a mile an hour off of his first round speed.
Pretty good. Eric from Lincoln, Nebraska, bringing his Corvette back to the competition this year.
And the official time does come through as 1/10 of a mile an hour faster, so he's only 2/10 off of his first round. Here's Chad Christensen. Chad in that 5:29 goes 155.2, so he goes faster than his first round of 154.4.
Chad from Roca, Nebraska.
Here's Steve Tasca from Colorado. He had the fastest time last time. Let's see what he gets. 161.5 in the half mile.
And the official speed will be 161.5 miles an hour.
Well, looking at the results from a year ago, I think Steve posted the fastest time in the half mile last year of the runs that were made. And going back to last year's results, Steve went 177.2 last year. Some good runs again this year, too.
Again, you folks that are watching the stream are seeing a picture of a drone shot that is being provided to us by Central Nebraska Streaming. The guys came out, they put their drone in the air, and they're giving you a great look at the nice straight road that these guys are driving down and competing on today. Thank you very much to them for showing these awesome views to you here for the second and third rounds. As they now are driving the vehicles down to the 1 mile shootout location. So we'll go ahead and take a quick 30-second break, and we'll come back with more here from the Cozad-Callaway Road on 95.3 and our streaming platforms.
When your car needs fixed, getting it running right is all you should have to worry about. The last thing you need is wondering if the shop you're taking it to is honest and trustworthy. You won't worry about that at all with A1 Auto Repair in Arnold. From small services like oil changes to fixes like electrical testing and repair, they'll get you back on the road. A1 Auto invites you to all the action and fun of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, proud to help sponsor the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Just sit it right here. Just sit it right here. Sorry. Didn't know we were back. We were strategizing with the drone during our commercial break. We're going to see if we can get a shot of us up here in the crow's nest. That'd be cool to use for, make sure you save that replay, Gavin. That'd be cool to use in the future going forward. But we're getting ready for our second run of the mile shootout. And we had some great times posted in the mile there in the first round. Again, the fastest time in the 1 mile was posted last year by Mark Kappener in his 2011 Lamborghini. He went 234.1 miles per hour. There we are on the stream. Everyone wave at the drone.
Oh, we're waving. Hello.
Hello to all our viewers out there. Thank you very much for tuning in. You get a look at where we're talking to you from. You get a look at the crowd behind us. Great crowd on hand here today for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge shootout part of the 3 days of racing action. Getting ready for the second run of the 1 mile shootout. Should be fun.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned that speed of a year ago. You and I and Gavin was with us too. We all three got to experience that live. And it's hard not to think back to that run, Jeremy, because when he came across the line, I mean, you knew it was going to be super fast. And then when they put the speed up on the board, boy, it was, I mean, there was hand clapping, and there were oohs and ahs and wows, and it was really neat to be a part of that a year ago.
It was great, and we hope that we see some more speeds in the 200s. Might not see them this year, but of course every single year they have a system where they take entries, and then you find out whether or not you made it into the SORC for that year or not. They send you a green card in the mail. That's what all the racers wait for. They put in their name and their information, and they hope to get that green card in the mail so that they know that they're going to be competing. And these racers you're seeing today obviously got that card and are here competing. Time for the mile shootout. Here's the guy that holds the record in his other vehicle. It's Mark Kapner in that 811 Corvette. Had a 169.8 the first round. We'll see what he gets here. It's a 169 flat.
Mark coming all the way from Idaho Falls, Idaho to compete in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge events. Mark's been here for several years, and great to see him back again in 2021.
From Arnold, Nebraska, but not originally from there, is RT Green. He's a really cool Sandhills Open Road Challenge story. Loved racing here so much he moved here in car 444. Had a 159 flat in the first round. Let's see what RT's got for us. It's a 151.5.
RT will have an official speed of 100.
As Jeremy mentioned, RT now from Arnold, Nebraska. Says he's been fortunate enough to be in Arnold for SORC for 14 years. And he says, you know what? The race has brought me to my real home, now living in Arnold, Nebraska.
Doesn't look like we're going to see car number 25 who ran next the last time down, but it's Tommy Dale Vines coming down next, trying to match his 179.8. And he almost does it. We'll see what the official time is. If it's 1/10 higher, it is. So the official time is 179.8. He matches exactly the speed he had the first round.
Tommy, no stranger to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. He's been here before, coming from Eagle Butte, South Dakota.
Ken Hodges coming up next in car 707. Had a 161.1 the first time in his Corvette. What do you got for us, Ken? 160.6 is shown.
Another Colorado driver is Ken from Julesburg, Colorado, participating in SORC for the 15th year.
And again, probably about 80% of the time, the official time that's being announced over the loudspeaker is 1/10 of a mile an hour faster than what you folks watching the stream are hearing. Or seeing, I should say, as car number 949 comes down. Levi Durnall at a 151.4 the first time around. We're showing a 152.2.
Levi from Meade, Nebraska.
0.3 miles an hour. Car number 8, John.
I think what I'm going to start doing is announcing 1/10 of a mile an hour faster than what is shown on the screen, because it seems that seems to be happening more often than that speed showing consistently. Here comes car number 8. .184 flat, if that is the official time, to go with the 185.3 from the first round.
83.9.
John Schmidt from Lincoln, Nebraska, bringing his Corvette back to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Denny's driving the 2019.
You know, John mentions in his bio here, you know, last year, as we know, dealing with the COVID situation and everything, there weren't many races a year ago, but there was a Sandhills Open Road Challenge. And John's still thanking the folks that made that possible a year ago, and certainly thrilled to be back this year.
Here comes car number 48. Denny Powell had a 157.6.
Speed will be 157.6. miles.
And
an
while
hour.
the screen shows 157.6, the official time again is 1/10 faster at 157.7.
Kevin Hanshu,
Denny, another one of our
Wichita,
Kansas drivers up competing in the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge. Denny from Wichita.
Kevin Hanshu coming up next in the Corvette with number 59 on the side of 158.4 the first time. We'll see what Kevin can give us this time. 155.8 shown on the board.
The official speed will be
Another Kansas
155.
driver is Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin listed from Wichita. Says this is just his second year at Sork.
Kevin Kappner,
An honor to be allowed to be a part of this special event, he says.
Chevy Corvette.
Loves the excitement of the race and also the community of Arnold and really the family that Sork volunteers have become. It's kind of a family that regathers here every year now in central Nebraska.
Here's Kevin Kappner at a 169.1 the first time, and we're showing a 167.6 for car
The official
515.
speed for Kappner will be
Kevin also from Idaho. Pocatello, Idaho is where he calls home. Been racing for years in the Nevada Open Road Race.
Blair, Nebraska.
Discovered the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge, and he considers that the best, most friendliest, and greatest one in America. Pretty high praise for this event.
I would say. What I'm doing is listening for the official times, which I'll give to you when we go forward, but I'm writing down the times that you folks are being shown on the stream. There goes car 667 from Gary Bates, and he gets a 167.6.
158.1 will be the official
Gary
speed.
from Blair, Nebraska.
And they say 158.8, so we either didn't get this speed put
Jim
up,
Miller,
it didn't change from the last
North Platte,
time.
Nebraska. He's driving the 2005 Dodge Viper. That's car number 231.
Here comes car, I believe they said 321. We won't see the 777 of Jack Jones. Here comes Jim Miller. Jim gonna hit 153.2 to go with his 152.5.
153
Jim, not too far away, came from North Platte, Nebraska to compete. Fourth time running in the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge. Owns a local body shop. That kind of created his love for racing. And it's good to have Jim here as part of the shootout this morning.
1973.
Here comes the Pantera from 1973 is when this car came out. Looks like it's a modern car, but Mark brought it from Florida to race. Car 135 coming down the track. That Pantera is so cool. A 165.9.
Mark Skwarek. I hope I'm close on the pronunciation of that last name anyway. From Island, Florida, bringing that Pantera to the race today.
Shanda Grunseth of Sioux
Car
Falls, South
724, Shanda Gronseth
That'll be the 1994
of Sioux Falls coming down.
Mazda.
The Mazda Miata, probably one of the smaller cars here in competition today. See what Shanda can do after that 133.4 in the first round. Here comes that gray Miata. Big wing, almost as big as the car on the back. 133.8 is shown.
Sha-
Shanda will have a speed of
Shanda, another one of our South Dakota drivers, making it here from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Competed in the half-mile shootout a year ago and was really good in their two runs yesterday of having
Chevy Corvette.
close speeds of 104.9 and 104.3. That was in last year's half-mile shootout. Shanda competing in the 1 mile shootout this year.
Ryan Rusher, car 625 in his red Corvette at a 157.3 in the first round. And this is a 156.7 unofficially.
Yeah, Ryan, another one of our South Dakota drivers who have come down for the event. Ryan from Yankton, here to compete in the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge.
Mike Hill, car
And about every time
290
that I decide I'm going to start
Texas.
announcing them 1/10 of a mile an hour faster, the official time is actually what's shown on the screen. And then when I don't, I'm wrong that direction as well. So I'm just going to say what's on the screen and then try to keep one of my headphones off to write down the official times for the next time down the track. Here's car 290 with Mike Hill. Had a 164 flat the first time out. We're showing a 162.6.
Mike, another one of our Texas drivers. Mike coming up from Allen, Texas to compete in Sork this year.
Car 433 coming up next, Cam Ewald. He's got that black Dodge that'll come down. That Challenger is going to show if it can match that 157.1 mile an hour mark that he set last time. Here comes Cam. .156.5 is shown.
156.5.
Well, we have a few from Blair, Nebraska joining us for Sork this year. Cam's another one of them, coming from Blair over to Arnold and the surrounding area to compete in the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge events.
Here comes John Shuda, car number 211. We'll have two red Corvettes here in a row coming up next. He had a 150.7 the first time down, did John? Let's see what he's got this time. It's a 152.1.
Just love listing where all of our drivers come from. Just amazing at how they come from across the state and across the country. John comes to us from Illinois, from Grove, Illinois is where he lists his hometown. His 5th year here at the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge.
Here comes Wayne Hora, number 5 in a red Corvette. Wayne is going to get a 164.6. Had a 164.9 the first time out.
Pretty good. Wayne not too far away, just up in Stapleton, Nebraska. Wayne, a long-time participant of Sork. How long? Well, he's been here every single year. His 21st time of competition here at the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge.
That's great. Here comes the orange Mustang of Jason Rader, car 462. Jason was able to put together a 150.4 the first time down the shootout track. And he gets his Mustang to go 154.6.
154.6.
Jason, another one of our drivers that comes from the capital city, Lincoln. His 10th year for the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge. Says all summer he looks forward to hanging out with friends in Arnold and competing in the activities.
Car 415, Tim Zimmerman, had a 146.7 the first time down the track. We'll see what Tim can get this Charger to do for him this time. 147.3.
147.3 will be the speed.
Tim coming all the way from Sandy, Utah to compete in the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge. It's his 2nd year at Sork. Greatly looking forward to it. Says it was definitely a highlight of his year in 2020.
1999 Chevy Corvette.
Here comes the 1999 Chevy Corvette. It's maroon in color. If I remember right, it's plenty shiny. It's Brian Mislonkin, the 234. Brian gets a 155.5 to go with his 154 from last time.
And another one of our Lincoln drivers is Brian, coming from Lincoln to compete. Heard about the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge from a friend that had participated, and he couldn't wait any longer to sign up. So he did, and I have a feeling Brian will be coming back year after year now.
Here comes that Crown Victoria driven by Danny Sparling. It has 184 on the side of it. He had a 162.9 in the first round. And he gets a 162.3 here. So great couple of runs there for Danny Sparling.
Yeah, Danny all the way from Virginia Cedar Bluffs, Virginia is what he lists as home. Back in his old Crown Vic with even more power that he's showing off here in the 1 mile shootout today.
Here comes Daniel Manis. He wants to make some noise in that Fox Body Mustang. Number 86 went 162.9 the first time. And goes 160.6 this time.
Another one of our Kansas drivers is Daniel Manis. Hometown listed as Barryton, Kansas.
Jeremy Gosson, car number 3.
Here comes one of my favorite drivers because he's got an awesome first name. Jeremy Gosson with his gray Corvette, car 333. He wants to go 177.8 again. And he goes 177.3.
177.3 will be.
Brent, I'm not going to lie. When you shook the, when you shook this up here, the scaffolding like that, I expected to turn around and not see you there anymore. I thought you fell.
Me?
That was horrifying. What did you do?
I wasn't even close to falling. I dropped the book, is what happened.
Oh my gosh! I thought we lost you completely.
Really? Oh, I was nervous of the book falling, not myself. Jeremy's another one of our home state drivers. He's from Papillion, Nebraska, and he posted the last speed that you saw on your screen.
Carl Hansen in his Mustang, car number 73, goes by, had a 134.1, and now gets a 133.4.
133.5.
A lot of Colorado drivers have found out about the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge and make it here year after year now. Carl is one of them. Carl coming from Colorado Springs.
Here comes that 2006 Saturn driven by Bill Harvey. If I remember right, he came from a pretty good distance up north in this 101 car. He went 133.9 in the first round. Bill coming down, looking for 133.9. Let's see what he gets. It is 133.9 on the screen. Let's listen if that's the official time.
33.9.
It is. So he equals his speed from the first round.
Bill from Michigan, South Lyon is where he calls home. Excited to be back to Arnold. This is his 6th year here at the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge, and Bill with 2 perfect runs here at the 1 mile shootout. Can't wait to see if he can equal that on his 3rd attempt coming up.
Greg Ertlinson, car 212 up next, went 149.9 the first round. He gets a 158.9, so I think maybe Greg is just going for speed. And we have a lot of drivers that say they do that when we interview them away from the races. They say, I just want to go out here and push the pedal down.
Greg, another one of our many South Dakota drivers participating in the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge. Greg from Rapid City, just his 2nd year driving at Sork.
Here comes car 613. He's cooking. For Robert Wilson in that Corvette, it is a 175.4, a couple miles an hour faster than his last speed.
Robert coming up from Tulsa, Oklahoma to compete in the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge.
Of Blacksburg, Virginia. James is driving a 2015 BMW Coupe.
James Clay, I believe, is who they announced up next. So we'll skip one car and go down to car number 36, I believe. And it is James Clay. It's a 163.2. Had a 158.2 the first time.
163.3 miles an hour. Car 426.
Want to say thanks again to all of the great sponsors who are bringing you today's coverage on the video stream if you're watching it on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. And also a great thank you to our radio sponsors as well, as we are live for you on KBBN 95.3 FM.
Here's Doug Jones in car 426. We'll see what Doug can do compared to his last time. Hits a 158.4. Last time I had him down for a 157.5.
158.5.
Doug Jones, another one of our South Dakota drivers, making it this direction to compete in Sork. His 6th year at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. And like many, always looks forward to catching up with friends they met the year before and meeting new ones.
Here comes that Barracuda. John Huff, car 505, at a 156.4 the first round. And it's a 157.7 this time.
John Huff from Casper, Wyoming, calls Sork the highlight of his summer. Appreciates everybody who works together to put on this remarkable event. And John, we would second those thoughts.
We've got 2 drivers from Arnold, Nebraska coming up next if they run in the same order as they did the first time. Brent Culp up next in car 186. He went 151.5 in the first round. We'll see what Brent can do in his Camaro. 150.5, so just a mile an hour off.
150.5 miles an hour will be Brent's speed.
As Jeremy mentioned, Brent living right there in Arnold, Nebraska.
Car number 10, Jeff Preston.
Brent's been heavily involved in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge over the years and making a run here in the 1 mile shootout.
We've got 8 cars left here in the mile shootout. Then they'll go down and turn around and come back this direction. Jeff Preston, car number 10, comes across and gets a 155.5 to go with his 155.8. We'll see if that's the official time that's announced. It is, so he's 0.3 of a mile an hour off. That might be enough to win a speeds matching medal, first, second, or third, but a lot of the time you got to be within 1/10 of a mile an hour to have a chance.
2017 Chevy Corvette.
Dave Smith, number 9, coming up next. Went really fast. I think this was our fastest time in the mile last time. 185.4. Oh, a 185.5. Wow.
Looking at our notes from a year ago, Dave went just a little bit faster than that last year when he went 187.7, but 2 really good runs here this year. Dave from Gothenburg, Nebraska, so he certainly knows this area extremely well and kind of showing off his ability to put together matching speeds here in the first 2 runs of the mile shootout.
We'll skip over 1 car in our last order and see the BMW of Michael Rasmussen, car 383, coming up next. Hit a 131 flat last time. And hits a 133.1 this time around.
Michael, another one of our home state drivers, coming from Plattsmouth, Nebraska.
Car 84.
3 cars left, unless those couple of cars that we skipped over earlier are going to come out a little bit later. Right now it's car 84, Dave Wallace in his 1986 Corvette. Dave ran a 139.5 his first time down this mile-long track. And he goes 148.7 this time.
Well, again, if you've tuned in to us on KBBN 95.3 FM or on KBBN.com, we do want to let you know that there is a special video stream of today's half mile and 1 mile shootout that can be accessed on the KCNI KBBN YouTube page, also on the Sandhills Express Facebook page, and on our Twitter accounts at KBBN Sports and at KCNI KBBN Radio.
Here comes Bill Schneider in what is essentially a Pontiac Grand Prix that is a NASCAR. He's cooking it. Lets off a little bit. I didn't see the speed change up on the screen. I don't think that's right. That's the last speed. We'll see if we can hear the announcement.
We'll check that speed. We show it as 163.0.
163.
Okay.
For Bill Schneider of Malcolm, Nebraska. as we kind of start to come to the end, I believe, of our competitors in this 1 mile shootout.
You're exactly right. This is the crowd favorite, Nick Eckberg. No mufflers on this 1965 Corvette. Let us hear you, Nick. Nick had a 157.7 the first time. There goes 150.3.
Official speed will be
Yeah, Nick and Lyle Eckberg, they've been coming here, well, every year for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Nick and Lyle of Wakefield, Nebraska, making our final run here in the second leg, I guess you would call it, of the half mile and 1 mile shootout.
Awesome stuff there from Nick, and unless they send another car late, I believe that is going to be all the cars for our second run. So we've got one run left, and they are sending a pickup truck down, if my eyes serve me well. Looks like it. The eye doctor tells me I still have 20/20 vision, but sometimes I'm not sure I believe it. But that is a pickup coming down. So I think what they're going to do is turn all the cars around, and we'll have the parade of cars coming up. So on the radio and on video, we'll hear from some of our wonderful radio sponsors. You'll see the picture of the cars going by on your screen, and we'll hear from the sponsors and come back after this 3-minute timeout.
Mills Hardware and Feed of Arnold is your hometown hardware and feed store. They've supported the community of Arnold and surrounding area for 23 years. That includes the Sandhills Open Road Challenge in year 21 this year. Get your Milwaukee tools at Mills Hardware, your top dealer in the area. They offer over 72 feet of Milwaukee tools and accessories, open 8 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Mills Hardware in Arnold, your local Milwaukee tool connection. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
The Callaway District Hospital, along with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, love supporting the community. And they're very excited for the SORC organizers as they get ready for the Open Road Challenge. The Callaway District Hospital and Medical Clinics are excited to announce their new public transportation service. Call 308-212-0464 to schedule a ride today. Areas served and destinations requested will be evaluated on a first-come, first-served basis. Enjoy the excitement of SORC. From the Callaway District Hospital and the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics.
It's Sandhills Open Road Challenge time. When you're in Arnold, go to Grazer's Bar and Grill. Wednesday night entertainment from Craig Fern. Tim Mohana will provide entertainment on Friday night. Then on Saturday night, Victory Underground will rock the stage. Jesse, Annie, and the crew at Grazer's are pumped for a fun week during SORC, offering a fresh salad bar, daily lunch and dinner specials, and an amazing array of Donnie's specialty burgers. Grazer's Bar and Grill in Arnold wishes all the drivers safe races. Order online at grazersbarandgrill.com.
Start your new career at Becton Dickinson by attending a convenient walk-in interview at the Broken Bow BD facility on the first or the third Wednesday of each month from 3 to 5 p.m. or apply online at bd.com/careers. BD is an equal opportunity employer that offers competitive pay starting between $18 and $25 an hour. Shift differentials up to $1.25 an hour and full benefits package starting on day one of employment. So make sure to join BD's walk-in interviews on the first and third Wednesday of the month and apply online at bd.com/careers.
10:45, you're listening to KBBN 95.3 FM. We'll return next to racing, the third round. Back to you, gentlemen.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. And we do welcome you folks back to the county road between Callaway and Cozad. That's where they run off the half mile and 1 mile shootout for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Brent Apperson, Jeremy Scheib with you on KBBN 95.3 FM and KBBN.com, Broken Bow, Nebraska. And we're also giving you a special video stream as well, which you can access on our media platforms, which include the KCNI KBBN YouTube page, Sandhills Express Facebook page, and also on our Twitter feeds, which are at KBBN Sports and at KCNI KBBN Radio. Jeremy, as we watch the cars now parade back to the starting line and get ready for their final run of this half mile and 1 mile shootout, I guess, an opportunity for us again to thank some folks. Need to say thanks to these wonderful students who are here with their drone. I think you've kind of been able to look at some of the drone footage that they've been able to provide on the video stream, but it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, Central Nebraska Streaming is what they call themselves, and they've got the drone know-how, and they've been flying one around showing you folks that are watching the video stream some wonderful angles. And if you are watching this stream and know of somebody that is competing that wants to check this out later on, make sure you let them know they can watch a replay of the video on Facebook and on YouTube. Our video stream brought to you today by those sponsors you're seeing run across your screen throughout the broadcast. They include A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, Mills Hardware and Feed, First State Insurance, the Callaway Market, Anderson Auto Tech of Broken Bow, Lines Appliance, Trotter Service, and Cobblestone Hotel and Suites. And when we take our commercial breaks, you are hearing our radio sponsors, both on the radio and on the video stream now, here for the second and third rounds. Third and final round is upcoming. Again, top speed is one of the competitions that these folks are competing in their different classes like street and super street. But they're also mainly trying to match their three speeds consistently, and that really lends itself well to what they're going to do in the Sork race and the loop-to-loop race, because they're trying to cross the finish line at a perfect time. Rather than racing car against car, it's car against time.
And again, we want to say a big thank you to Great Plains Communications. Still amazing to me that we're out in the middle of a pasture in between Callaway and Cozad on a county road, and we have internet capabilities to give you a live video stream and also make our audio on the radio much more clear than it has been in the past. For the years that we've come out to do this event, we've had one of the old bag phones, and we've put a booster antenna on it, and we try to get out of this kind of dead spot with cell service. But this year, thanks to Great Plains Communications, the ability to do a video stream, the ability to have technology, to have internet, really is amazing, and we just can't thank those folks enough for working with us and also working with the Sork Advisory Board to make all of this possible.
Well, as we get ready here for the third round of the shootout, we'll go ahead and take another quick break. We'll go 2 minutes, and we'll be back with third round racing action here at the shootout site on the Cozad-Callaway Road.
If you end up accidentally hitting a deer with your car, your first call should be to the doctor, Dr. Todd at Fixed Right Auto Body. Todd offers free estimates, and you can be sure that when you get your vehicle back from them, it'll be like you never met that deer. If you haven't repaired that hail damage, Todd can do that too. Fixed Right Auto Body, just north of the railroad tracks on 10th Avenue in Broken Bow. Fixed Right Auto Body is a proud supporter of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, and they wish both participants and spectators a great time.
Henry's Callaway Bar is an oasis in the middle of Nebraska. He invites the Sork drivers and fans to visit this Friday and Saturday. They'll be opening at noon each day and will be open until 1 a.m. Try Henry's one-of-a-kind fresh handcrafted cocktails. They have the best margaritas in central Nebraska. Pick up the special of the month, a pineapple margarita. Located next to the Callaway Community Center, proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Henry's Bar. Follow them on Facebook at Henry's Callaway, Nebraska.
The independent agents at First State Insurance of Arnold can offer you choices that save you money. Becky or Pat would love for you to call 848-2522 to set up an appointment with First State Insurance for a free quote and review. They are proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. They hope you enjoy the action again this year, the 12th through the 14th. Check out the race and event schedule at sorcrace.com. First State Insurance of Arnold, proud Sork supporters.
Trumbull Repair is now Trumbull Repair and Towing Service. Dan is excited to offer 24/7 towing and transport. Trumbull Repair offers mechanical service, welding, and mobile welding. If you need these services, call Dan at 308-870-2127. When you're stranded and need emergency roadside assistance, call Trumbull Repair and Towing Service, a half-mile east of Callaway on Highway 40. Trumbull Repair and Towing Service, happy to help bring you coverage of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge races.
We are KBBN 95.3.
The Thunderbird.
And we bring you back to the county road between Callaway and Cozad as we continue with the 1 mile and a half mile shootout event surrounding the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. The cars making it back over to the starting line, and we are just about ready to begin the third and final run of this half mile and 1 mile shootout. Brent Epperson, Jeremy Scheib with you. Jeremy, we've seen some great runs and great speeds, but again, there's also an award that is given out to drivers who can match closest their speed in all 3 runs. And we've seen some opening runs where, well, we've seen a couple of drivers, I think, be perfect, matching their speed on both of their opening 2 runs.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of the speeds that we're saying out loud here on the air and on the video stream, and even the speeds that are shown up on the board, are unofficial speeds. They've got time takers that are writing down the official speeds, and of course later on this week they'll have the awards banquet where they give awards for not only this race but also the loop-to-loop, which took place yesterday morning and into the afternoon, and then also the Sork race, which is tomorrow morning, which, by the way, you can also watch here on this stream where you are viewing, or you can listen to it on KBBN 95.3 as well. And the race itself is really one of many things that are still ahead on the schedule as far as what's coming up at Sork for you to enjoy. So lots of great things to take in for the remainder of Sandhills Open Road Challenge 2021. And we'll flip that up on the stream for you folks to see. All kinds of lunches. That's another one of those things. You know, you come to central Nebraska, a lot of things seem to rotate around meals. I think that goes for Sork too.
Well, Emily Barnett, who works for KCNI KBBN Radio, she was in Arnold on Wednesday and was visiting with some of the drivers who were checking in their cars and going through their tech inspection. And as she was interviewing them, she would ask them, you know, what is your favorite part of Sork? And in the couple of interviews that we ran yesterday for folks, I think everybody said, not only did they say the race, they said pie.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, they know how to make some delicious pies here in central Nebraska, and I think folks love coming up for that. They're certainly treated well when they make the long journey, for some, a real long journey to this event. And it's more than just racing, it's the ability to get together with each other.
All right, there goes car number 4, and we're underway here with our third and final round, starting in the half mile. The mile will follow, and going 139.9 is Robbie Smith in his Corvette.
Robbie's speed will be 140.
Okay, and the official speed is 140, so guess what, Brent?
Yes.
Robbie Smith went 140.0 all 3 runs.
Wow.
That is amazing. Here's the Lamborghini. Darren Brewer goes by and goes 148.4. Had a 148.3 and a 147.6 to round out his 3 runs in that beautiful Lamborghini. As Keith Bisson comes up, car number 83. Now he's got a chance at getting some really tight scores. 93.9, then a 93.8 his first 2 times down. We'll see what he can come up with this time. .6.
Keith's speed will be 93.6.
Great stuff there from Keith. Trent Zesson. That's a racing name for sure. Car 866. This is an awesome car. The Chevy 2 coming down, making noise. 132.3.
His speed will be 132.3.
And that is the official time announced. So he matches his second and third speed. His first speed was 132.8. So Trent Zesson having 3 good runs as well, as John Slack comes out in his Subaru, car 51 next. John Slack is from my hometown. Bennington, Nebraska. I lived outside of town. John probably lives much closer, but he puts in a 99.6. That is his slowest of his 3 times so far today. Had a 101.4 and a 106.5.
If someone runs a 95.3, do we need to give them one of our hats or something?
No, we should, probably. Comes 91, Mike McCullough. He's going to be the one driving on the Sork Day. I remember I wrote down the wrong name here. The driver today is a different driver, but they go 117.8 to go with a 122.2 and a 115.3 as we go to Jay Hill, one of our many Colorado drivers today, Brent.
Yeah, several coming down from Colorado to join us.
Jay's yellow Corvette goes 141.9. He pairs that with a 141.1 and a 143.1. Again, we're just underway with our 3rd and final run of the half-mile shootout. We've already made it much further than we did last year, Brent. We remember that oil spill that didn't allow many cars to even have a second run, so this is awesome. Car 33 comes through with Adam Rogers. A 117.9 to go with a 116.5 and a 117.4.
Car 302, Chadwick Smith.
Here comes Chad Smith in car 302. My favorite colored Mustang in the field. Sounds good too, a 127.5.
Chadwick will finish
The
out
888 coming up for Scott Minton. Scott had a 131.5 and a 132.1. Scott's going to have to hit the gas a little bit more. I'm a bad judge of speed, but that doesn't look like 130. It is 118.7, so Scott goes a little bit slower that time around to go with this 131 and 132 speeds. Here's Claire Kurz, car 816, at a 141.9 and a 142.2. And Claire gets a 141.2. Does this make you want to drive faster in your own personal car, Brent?
Yes, it does. I have to make sure I set my cruise control when I drive after I watch this event.
Yeah, exactly. Car 204, the Yellow Viper of Ryan Furstenau, goes 147.1. He's got some tight times.
147.2 will be
The 147.2 is the official time. He had a 147 flat and had a 146.7 earlier, as we've got a Porsche coming up next from Kerry Burns. Car 450 with Kerry Burns goes 122.9, and that matches his first speed. And his second speed was 125.4, so things will average out well for Kerry. I don't know about how fast your car tops out at, Brent. I don't know. You probably want to say for legal purposes you've never figured it out. But I know that I've never figured it out in my Jeep Wrangler, because at about 80 miles an hour it starts to wiggle and get a little dangerous. As coming through is Jeffrey Bernard with a 122.8 in his Challenger. Closest speed to that was a 122.7 in the second round. Here comes the Beamer. We'll see what Lynn does in car 749. A 128.3. The slowest of the 3 times for Lynn Klieger here today. Had a 133 and then a 132.7 the first 2 rounds. As Michael Metzger comes up next. He's got this Ford Explorer. It might be the fastest one in Nebraska today. Michael goes 110.3, and that matches his second round score. So that's exciting for Michael. Went 109.3 in the first round too, so 3 speeds within 1 mile an hour of each other. Comes a pretty blue Corvette over the hill. Jack Martin driving, car 301. .124 flat for Jack Martin as Joe Hackney comes up next. Got to comment on the weather again, Brent. It is beautiful out here. If you had to complain, which, by the way, Mother Nature, we're not complaining. It is a little bit breezy, but the breeze is behind the cars. That's certainly got to help. Better than a headwind. Here comes that Chevy Silverado with Joe Hackney. Joe runs a 117.1. He matches his first round speed, and his second round speed was a 117.5, so he'll have something to say about placing in the top 3 in the speed matching portion, as we've got our next truck coming up, an F-250, probably our only diesel-powered vehicle here today. They're waving again. The passenger had a cell phone in their hand as they drove by and filmed everyone going by at 97.4 miles an hour.
That's pretty neat.
Matt Teon up next. I believe Dave Burney was telling me that he had lunch with the Tehons yesterday after the loop-to-loop in Halsey. So we'll see what Matt does in the 308 car, representing our area code. Matt goes 114 flat. Had a 108.3 and then a 111.9 in there as well for his 3 speeds.
David Wag of Watertown, South Dakota. David's driving a 2013 Ford Mustang.
David Wag up next in his 102 car. It's a Mustang. We'll see how David does. 128.3.
128.3.
That's his middle speed. Had a 129.9 and a 127.5 in there as well. As Bob Brownell comes up. And let's see if this is, nope, this is
might
a
be
different number.
Younglove.
Yep, this is Bruce Younglove. So Bruce does a 141, and he's been racing at the Sork a lot, and you can see it in his speeds. He had a 141 and a 141.8 to go with that 141. Now we did skip 4 cars in there. We have seen some leave the track and come back here and park that left for you know, various reasons. So we can come back to those and fill in a third time. Here's the Ford Fiesta of David Sanderson. Had a 104.7 right there. That was his slowest of his 3 times to go with his 2 speeds sitting in the 105s.
Car 205, Jason Hornady of Grand Island, Nebraska.
I hear a supercharger. Here comes Jason Hornady in his Challenger. Sounds beautiful. 145.5, and he's sitting in there nestled in with 2 other speeds, 146.5 and a 145.8. That was actually his slowest of the 3, but I thought his car was the loudest there of the 3. Car 94, we're back on track in order. Zeke Peterson comes down at a 144.4. His slowest time of the 3.
Car 87, Ron Helmer.
It's interesting to see the different strategies, Brent. Some of these folks, I'm sure they just stab on the gas all the way through and hope it works out speed-wise at the end, and some of them kind of let up at the end using that strategy. Coming through, did you catch that number there?
Will be Ron's.
Oh, that was Ron Helmer, okay.
Yeah.
145.7 for Ron Helmer.
Krauts of Olathe, Kansas.
We're going to have to keep maybe a closer ear on our announcers. We're skipping numbers here as we go through. There goes the Aston Martin of Jeff Krauts at 135.2 right there. Well, he's a rookie driver, but I'd say he's doing pretty darn good because he matched his second round speed and he was just 0.3 slower than his first speed round.
Car 173 with a 2018
Here comes Samer Damer back in the lineup a little bit based off of the last two rounds. Samer gets a 130.1.
130.1 will be Samer's.
We must taste sweet, Brent, because the flies have worked their way up.
I have noticed that.
Or we stink, and they've had enough of the cow pies that are in the field here below us, and they've worked their way up to us. Either one.
It's probably more of the latter, I'm guessing.
Here comes Clint McKenzie in his lime green Dodge. Clint's going to record a 113.2 to go with his 114 flat and a 113.8.
Car 923, Mike
I think for
Rosenthal,
sure this is the
Grace
largest
Colorado.
crowd that we have seen
He's driving a
at the
2006
shootout
Ford
races.
Mustang.
This is amazing. Comes the Mustang of Jerry Abst. Jerry hits 128.5. And like many drivers in this round, that is his slowest of his three runs, which is kind of surprising considering the wind is kicked up. Maybe it's a little bit of an overcorrection.
He's driving a 2014 Chevy Corvette.
Here comes Brock Anderson, car 113. Hits 125.1, just 1/10 of a mile an hour slower than his second round speed. So Brock Anderson really controlling that gas pedal well.
Car 690.
Car 690 coming up next. We're going up in our lineup a little bit. He was to run a little bit earlier. Bob Brownell in his Corvair hits 134.2.
134.3 will be his official final run.
That was his middle speed. His top speed was 136.1 and his low speed was 132.3.
He's driving a 1979 Chevy Camaro.
Comes James Luby in car 313. Great looking Camaro. Comes across at 137.2.
137.2.
Had a couple of 136 and change runs on his first two runs. As we've worked our way towards almost the bottom of our front half of our half-mile shootout sheet.
Dodge Charger.
So we've got about 7 to 10 cars left. There goes Ralph Johnson in his orange Dodge. Ralph goes 130.9, and Ralph matches his second round speed, and his first round speed was 130.5, so he's only between 3 runs off by a couple tenths of a second. Charlie Bosselman up next in his yellow Mustang. We'll see what Charlie can do. 130.8. Only the last digit had to change from the last vehicle.
130.8.
And he had a 123.2 and a 125.4. So he adds at least 5 miles an hour faster than he had gone to this point. Barry Conkin comes up next. This is the newest Corvette that I've seen go down the road today. Barry pulls a 139.8, and that matches his first round score. So that would certainly help the average. Here comes Kirk Sharp. It's going to be nice and loud here in the half mile. Kirk had a 148.3 and a 147.9. He gets a 148.7, so that's his fastest speed of the day.
148.7.
So that's great for Kirk. As here we've got 3 cars left in the order that they ran the first 2 times. but we do have a couple of cars that didn't run earlier on in our rundown that we might see come a little bit later. Chad Christensen comes by at 155.3.
155.3 will be Chad's final speed.
Eric Schmidt is yet to run. He had the second fastest time in the first run. Steve Tasca has the fastest run here in the half mile. He is running right now in his gray Corvette. 158.6. Heard him let off a little bit there at the end. That is his slowest time. But I do believe, unless Eric Schmidt comes out, and I don't think we're going to see him. I think he was maybe one of the cars I saw pull off to the side, and we won't see a third run from, as they are moving back to the mile shootout location. So that will be the fastest car that we saw in the half mile that you folks just saw and heard right there from Steve Tasca. Ran a 161.5 in the second round there in the half mile. And as we have a quick second here and we get ready for the mile shootout, let's go ahead and take a 30-second break and be back with more here from the Cozad-Callaway Road.
Need to cool off this summer? Look no further than Shotgun Annie's in Callaway. They open at 11 Tuesday through Sunday, just closed on Mondays. Shotgun Annie's invites you to take advantage of their party room with larger groups. And don't forget to try your luck at Keno. Their signature taco night is Thursday, featuring delicious tacos and, of course, cold drinks. Shotgun Annie's in Callaway hopes to see you soon.
KBBN 95.3 FM. The Thunderbird.
All right. Welcome back. That is us, the Thunderbird, KBBN 95.3, the voice of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, which the race that is named that will be tomorrow. And we'll have live video coverage and radio coverage of that for you tomorrow. But, of course, listen to KBBN throughout the time you're here for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge races, because we have some driver interviews that will be playing on our radio station for you. Well, here it is, Brent, the third and final run of the mile-long shootout, and I can't help but thank Great Plains Communications one more time before we have our last run of the mile here as we kind of get into the waning moments of the racing. Our connection's been great, and it's been amazing for radio and video too.
Yeah, it really has, and we also want to say thanks to our sponsors who are sponsoring the video streaming of this. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook or one of our Twitter feeds, please take note of the business names that are floating across your screen during the course of the video stream. Can't be here without their support, and certainly our radio sponsors as well that you've been hearing on KBBN 95.3 FM. You know, businesses in this area understand the importance of this event. You know, we talked a lot about the fun and everything that people have and the relationships that are developed, but it also is a big economic boost to the communities and areas that are involved in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, and that's special too.
Lots of people come to Arnold, and you know, the volunteers that are involved with SORC are in charge of everything from, you know, the financial side to the organizational side, and they even have someone who's in charge of finding these folks that are from out of town a place to stay when they come here to race. So it really is a team effort for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge each and every year. Mark Kappner on the track here in the third run of the mile shootout. Car 811 comes out. He normally drives a Lamborghini, or he drives this Corvette. He's moving quick. Mark hits 168.6, and that goes really well with his 169.8 and his 169. So that's pretty sweet for Mark Kappner. Not sure the story. Maybe if we can run into Mark later on in the racing, either today at the parade or at the Stork tomorrow, maybe we can find out from him what the situation is with the Lamborghini. I'd be interested to know. Comes our next car, car number 20. Tommy Dale Vines is the next car to run. Tommy hits 179.6. So for his final run, he runs just slower than his two previous times of 179.8. So Tommy Dale is going to be right in there in the running for these matching speeds awards that are given later on.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm trying to remember, what is the fastest we've seen up to this point in the mile?
I can let you know here in a second.
All right.
7:07 goes by. That's Ken Hodges. Ken hits a 156.8 to go with his two different 160-mile-an-hour speeds. I believe our fastest we've seen is coming up here in a couple of cars here. John Schmidt in car number 8 went 185.3 earlier.
Yeah, I thought we'd seen a couple that got over 180, but I couldn't remember if we've seen anything much faster than that.
And then later on, Dave Smith hit up in the 180s as well. Here comes Levi Durnall. Levi goes 151.4. And that is the exact speed that he went in the first run. His second run was 152.3, and that was his fastest run. We have skipped car 444 from RT Green and car number 25 as well. And we haven't seen car 25 since the first run. So not sure if we'll see either of those gentlemen later on in the race, but we're continuing on in our order. Here's one of our faster cars, John Schmidt. 183 flat. And that, believe it or not, is his slowest time of the day. He hit a 185.3 earlier today. And looking at my sheet here quickly, that is the third fastest time that has been run today. Run by John Schmidt. Denny Powell coming up next in car number 48, if we're still running in order. Had a couple of 157 speeds earlier. It's 160.9, so he stabs on the gas a little bit harder and gets it across that 160.9.
Car 59. Kevin Hanshu of Wichita,
We're just underway here in the mile shootout. This is our third run of 3. Again, thank you folks for tuning in, whether you're listening on the radio or if you are watching on our video stream. Thank you very much for watching. We'd appreciate your shares of the video on your social media platforms you're watching on. Here comes our next Corvette. Kevin Hanshu goes through and hits his fastest time, second fastest, excuse me, of. Okay, so the official time is faster than what they show on the screen, and that's good because that happened to be exactly what he ran the first time out. So Kevin Hanshu showing off what he can do as we've got our second Kevin in a row. Kevin Kapner up next. Kevin's got a beautiful blue Corvette. .168 flat, so he shoots the gap in between his two speeds, and that's just kind of correcting out your average, basically. He went 169.1, then 167.7, so then he shoots right in the middle and goes 168. So that'll help out his average for sure. Here comes that cool 1973 Pantera. Mark Swarek comes through and hits 168.1.
168.1 will be the Pantera's final.
Cool to think about those cars driving around in 1973 because it looks like a car that, you know, with a couple of modern touches could have come out right here in the 2000s. It's a cool looking car.
Shanda's driving a 1994 Mazda Miata.
Shanda Gronseth comes in with her, with the Miata. 1994 is what I've got down for Shanda. 133.4 and a 133.8 were the first two runs. Cool. Gunmetal gray Miata goes 133.1. So 3 runs all in the 133s for Shanda.
Shanda's final run time. Car 625, Ryan Rusher of Yankton, South Dakota. Ryan's driving a 2000.
South Dakota driver up next, Brent. And we've got a few South Dakota drivers, and we've got some drivers from Colorado, Florida, California, Texas. Really is an event that draws them from all the coasts. Ryan Rusher. 157.7 for Ryan Rusher.
157.7.
Shannon, our camera lady, is shedding layers. The sun has really reared its head here lately. I think the last cloud that was covering things up has come out. Your neck's looking a little red, Brent.
Oh, good. It's kind of feeling a little red, too.
Oh, well, that lines up. Here comes our next car.
I've always been proud to be a redneck, though, so I'm all right.
Here's our maroon Corvette, Mike Hill, car 290, hits 163.3. And they do add a 10th for the official time, so it's 163.4. That is a middle speed between his 162.7 and his 164. As Cam Ewalt comes up next, he's got his Dodge Challenger ready to hit the 1 mile track. He had a 157.1 and then a 156.5 his first 2 times out. And Cam goes 156.1. They correct that to 156.2. Do have to put a quick shout out in here again to Shannon Murray and Gavin Higgins. They're running the camera equipment for our stream today. And I got to say, for cars going 150 to 185 miles an hour, I think we're doing a pretty darn good job of keeping them on the screen. So thank you to those two and to Central Nebraska Streaming for their help with the drones. As car number 5 comes through, Wayne Hora, it's a 165.1. And that is his fastest speed of the day. His previous 2 were in the upper 164s.
Yeah, Wayne, we announced earlier from Stapleton, and Wayne, one of a handful of people that have been here at every single Sand Hills Open Road Challenge event. That's pretty neat considering we're in year 21.
They call him Sork Lifers. He was one of them. Here comes Jason Rader in his orange Mustang. Or you call that red? I don't know. It's a color all its own, and he goes 154.3. And he smashes that speed right in between his previous 2, so he'll average out pretty good.
Car 415, Tim Zimmerman.
Tim Zimmerman up next. He's got a Charger he's going to come down in. Is this the Charger that we said was Impulse Bot?
It could have been, yeah. We were reading one of the bios on the car, and I think you're right. I think it maybe was this one. In the bio that we read, it said he just went out and bought it on a whim.
Yeah, I think that is the right car. Can you imagine you find yourself on a Dodge lot, you blink your eyes, and you're going home with a Charger?
Be okay with me.
147.8 is his final speed. Had a 146.7 and a 147.3 in there as well, so a good 3 runs for Tim Zimmerman.
Brian Meslonka of Lincoln, Nebraska. Brian's driving a 1990.
Brian Meslonka coming up next. Here comes another Corvette, easily the most popular car for these road races. Been talking to a couple of people this week. They're the most race ready off of the lot, and that's why you see them become so popular for these. There goes Brian. We'll see his time, or speed rather, 155.5, and that smashes on the nailhead his exact speed from the previous round. But again, our screen showing us that perfect time, but the official time is 1/10 faster, so it's a 155.6. Here comes one of my favorite cars, Crown Vic. Looks a lot better racing down the road than it did in the 90s, pulling people over as a cop car. And he's losing a little bit of smoke as he goes by. 154.8 for Danny Sparling.
154.9 will be
The
last.
Crown Victoria. I think that was the car that I drove to my senior prom.
Oh, boy.
But it did not look like that. Nor did it go that fast.
Yeah, prom's a cruising occasion, right?
Yeah.
Daniel Manis,
Here comes Daniel Manis. He's got that Ford Mustang Fox body. Late 80s, early 90s were the Fox bodies. Here's one of them. Not much of an exhaust system on that one as he goes by at 161 miles an hour.
161.
Flirting right in there with his other times, 162.9 and 160.6. As we've got one of our faster cars coming up next, he's been getting close to that 180 mark. Jeremy Gosson. He's got to be a great guy. Super first name. Ran 177.8 and a 177.3 first two times out. And he's got himself a 177 flat. Certainly knows how to drive that car well. Hit 177s all three times.
Wow. One of the faster speeds, really, we've seen in the 1 mile shootout when he
Yep.
gets up over that 175.
We've had two cars in the 180s. Glancing here real quickly. Tommy Dale Vines and Jeremy Gosson, as well as Robert Wilson, were all in the 170s. So we had two cars in the 180s, three in the 170s, and then plenty in the 160s and 150s. As we've got Carl Hansen coming down next. Carl gets a 132.8.
132.9 will be Carl's final run time.
But you would never think by the end of this that you are,
Car
You-
321.
it's not that you're unimpressed. It's just that if a car doesn't go by at over 150 miles an hour, you're like, oh gosh, that looked much slower. You go hop in a car and go 133 miles an hour. It's a lot different. This angle as well, you get to see the car going by at its full speed. And just about as fast as you can turn your head, you think of the distance that they are traveling. It's amazing.
151.4 will be his final run time.
151.4
Bill Harvey, car number 101. From
as
South
Bill
Carolina,
Harvey comes
Michigan.
up in his Saturn.
Driving a 2006 Saturn.
Well, as we watch this event continue, you just can't help but again think of all the volunteers that are working this event, whether it be here toward the finish line or there at the start line. A lot of people work together to put on an event such as this, and I know the drivers appreciate it, the spectators appreciate it, and we have seen some great runs so far today.
There goes Bill Harvey at 131.8. His slowest of three times, but he smashed his first two times at exactly the same rate of 133.9. So he's got those two working right into his average. We've got Greg Erlinson coming up next. Car 212 goes 156.5.
156.5 will be his final run time.
Had a 158.9 and a 149.9. So Greg got fast in the middle and slowed down a little bit to even out that average on his third run. And now we're onto the back page. We're inside of 20 cars to go here in the third run of the shootout races. Robert Wilson goes across and gets a 172.9. And believe it or not, 172.9 is his slowest run of the day. He topped out today at 175.4 in the 1 mile.
36, James Clay of Blacksburg, Virginia.
Which is faster than I've ever gone in my life. How fast do airplanes fly at?
BMW Coupe.
I have
Do we
no
even
idea.
know? Does anyone know how fast an airplane flies? That's the only chance I have of ever going faster than 170 miles an hour. Here comes our next car, a BMW driven by James Clay, 162.6.
162.6 will be James's lap.
That is his second fastest speed. James was able to put in a 163.3 today.
Car 420.
We've skipped another car, David Mathis. We haven't seen him out on the course for his second or third runs. So we'll see Doug Jones up next. He's got a blue Mustang. Here comes Doug up and over the hill. He hits the finish line at 157.1.
157.1 will be his final run time.
Doug was able to get a speed of 158.5 earlier today in his second speed. As we go to John Huff. I know if Dave Burney was here, he always loves this Barracuda. It's a sweet looking car, car number 505. It's one of the classic cars that's been converted to be able to run in races like this. There goes John Huff at 157.1.
157.1 will be his final
And for
run.
John, that puts that speed right in between his two previous speeds, so that average will be great. As Brent Culp comes out,
Arnold, Nebraska.
your fellow Brent.
He's driving
Brent was my neighbor for a while.
There you go.
I like his first name, too.
Hey, maybe he's listening on his radio. Some of these
Might
guys,
be.
you know, I would want to focus and turn our voices down, but sometimes they crank them up in their radios in their cars. So this Brent is cheering on that Brent. Brent Culp goes 151.4. And that's in between his two previous runs of 150.5 and 151.5.
car number
Jeff
10,
Preston coming up next. This is a 2018 Mustang.
2018 Ford Mustang.
Pretty new Mustang, not the newest one out here. Pretty much you can almost guarantee that there's going to be that model year's Mustang or Corvette in every single Sandhills Open Road Challenge event. As Jeff Preston turns in a 156.7.
His final run speed will be 156.6.
Well, here we go, Brent. 6 left on the sheet. A couple that we haven't seen
Car
that we've
number
skipped
9,
over.
David Smith of Gothenburg, Nebraska.
And this car that's coming up right now just so happens to be the car that has turned in the fastest speed in the 1 mile so far today. He's floating around in the 185s. Let's see. $183.9.
183.9 will be Dave's final run speed.
Believe it or not, 183.9 is his slowest speed of the day. He had a 185.6 and a 185.4. And I believe if I told you folks correctly, that 185 speed,
Nebraska. He's driving a 1995.
yep, 185.6 was the fastest speed of the day. We've got 4 or 5 cars remaining. As car 383 comes up, this is that cool old BMW by Michael Rasmussen. Put on your ear protection as that one goes by. 131.5.
131.6.
Corrected by 1/10 of a mile an hour up to 131.6. So he's got 3 speeds all between 131 and 133, which is just simply amazing to me. I'd have trouble getting within 5 miles an hour consistently, let alone 1/10 of a mile an hour. believe to this point, between the half mile and the mile, we've only seen one car run 3 perfect times. Car 84, Dave Wallace, comes through at 147.2.
Chevy Corvette, and it's a final speed of
Now, when we get to the final car, can we have a little fun?
Sure.
All right. When the car gets, well, close to where we're located, we guess what speed he runs before it shows up on the board and find out who's closer.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you guys the first 2 speeds.
No,
then.
come on. Now that's not fair. I was hoping you would do that.
Gavin and Shannon both looked at me like, what the heck?
That was my idea. You tell us the first 2 speeds, and then we would guess.
Here comes Bill Schneider in that NASCAR. Bill goes 133.9. So I had to let off the gas a little bit. Now, if this is Nick Ekberg, it's the crowd favorite. It's also our last car on the sheet here, and it appears to be him down there. Now, guys, he went 157.7 and 150.3. So you've got a 7-mile-an-hour gap. So it's going to be a little tricky.
All right. This is Nick and Lyle, right?
Yep, this is Nick and Lyle in their 65 Corvette.
I think the Ekbergs have been here every year, too, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm going to say 155.2. 158.3. Oh, 157.7. He matched his first speed of the morning at 157.7. And we do have another car coming down.
Do we?
And this is the last car on the track. So this is going to be one of our cars that we missed earlier on. And he missed a gear in there, but got it caught up about 50 yards later. So he's going to have some catching up to do. And sounds like he's letting off it completely. Might have some kind of problem. This is that GMC pickup, car 720, Matt Voss. He had a run in the first round of 140.5, didn't make a second run, probably tried to get things put back together and right for the third run. It doesn't look like he was able to do that. He comes in at 76.6, which I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would say that 76.6 looks odd going across a finish line, but Matt cuts his speed from the first round essentially in half. And with that, everyone is starting to pack up their chairs and everything. We do have a sheriff's vehicle coming through right now. And he might be headed off to another call or something like that very quickly. Or he's clearing, yeah, he got a time of, or a speed of 105.4. So congratulations to the Custer County Sheriff's Office. He did turn his lights off once he got through the finish there. So he flipped the lights on, gave it a run.
It kind of makes you feel that that was planned, doesn't it? Because they announced it over the loudspeaker here. That was kind of a neat way to end the event.
Awesome stuff. Well, it's been an awesome event again, Brent. And thank you so much to Shannon and Gavin and yourself for crawling up here in this crow's nest here. It's been a lot of fun. And none of us fell, but we do have to take down all of the equipment still.
Oh, boy. You know, as I was climbing up here, I'm thinking to myself, I have a feeling it's going to be scarier climbing down than it was coming up. So, but hey, you know what? Before we go, just want to thank again, first off, these students, and give me the name again, Jeremy.
Central Nebraska Streaming.
All right, Central Nebraska Streaming. They were the ones that ran the drone and were in charge of the drone footage that you saw during the course of our video stream. I want to say thanks again to all of the wonderful people associated with SORC. Clay Moore, I know, really worked hand in hand with you, Jeremy, and with Dave Burney to kind of get this all set up today. We talked about Great Plains Communications. Still amazing to me that we are connected into internet here at this particular spot to do all that we did today with the video streaming and everything, so can't thank those folks enough. And I know I'm missing people. Certainly our sponsors of the video presentation, the sponsors on the radio. We just can't thank these folks enough. It's fun for us to come out and do something like this, but then to present something like video in the middle of a pasture, that still amazes me. And a lot of wonderful people helped us put that together, so we say thanks.
And the folks that you are seeing displayed on your screen, if you are watching this stream currently, are those that are considered as title sponsors of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. They do their business with the Sandhills Open Road Challenge Committee, and then their money is used towards putting on these events. It could be used for anything from banners to anything you can imagine that's involved with having people come from across the country to race in the Sandhills of Nebraska. So thank you very much to Pinnacle Bank, Optima Batteries, patron of Sorg, Sherry La Liberty, Blueprint Engines, Great Plains Communications, DeKalb and Asgrow, Gateway and Sandhills Motors of Broken Bow, 444 Racing with RT Green, Viera Wireless, and Hornady for being the corporate sponsors of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Thank you as well to the video sponsors you saw scrolling on your screen throughout the broadcast today. A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, Mills Hardware and Feed, First State Insurance, the Callaway Market, Lines Appliance, Trotter Service, Anderson Auto Tech in Broken Bow, and Cobblestone Hotel and Suites. And then before we end our radio broadcast as well, we want to thank the Exchange in Arnold, A1 Auto Repair, Mills Hardware and Feed, as well as our silver sponsors, Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Med Clinics, Grazer's Bar and Grill, BD Broken Bow, Fixed Right Auto Body, First State Insurance, Shotgun Annie's Saloon and Grill, Wenquist Incorporated, Reed's Food Center, Trotter Service, Trumbull Repair and Towing, State Farm Insurance Agent Donna Cahill, and Henry's Bar in Callaway. Any closing thoughts, Brent?
Well, just want to remind people that we're going to be there for the race that started it all. That's the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. It'll happen between Arnold and Dunning. We'll be there at the start line. You and I will. We'll have our video stream going. We'll video stream the first portion of the race as the cars take off on the first leg of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge tomorrow. Race is scheduled to start at 8:30. You'll be able to see coverage on our video streaming platforms and also an opportunity to listen to the coverage as well on KBBN 95.3 FM and on the web at kbbn.com. And also, if you folks would like to see these cars, and let me tell you, they are worth seeing. There's going to be a parade and a car show this afternoon in Arnold. I think it's at 2:30, just working off the top of my head. But feel free to come on over to Arnold for that. They'll parade the cars around Arnold, and then I think usually park them as well so you can walk around, take a look at them, take a look at what's underneath the hood. That's always fun, so we'll invite you out to do that. That's open to the public, and that'll be this afternoon at 2:30.
Yep, and then at 4 o'clock they'll have the burnout contest in Arnold as well. You can really see the power up close and personal. Well, Brent, I think that does it for the Shootout 2021. It was a lot of fun, and we got to complete the race this year, and I know that's always a big goal. Of course, you don't want any type of mechanical problems with the cars, and you certainly don't want to have any wrecks or accidents. So it's wonderful to have this event end, and everyone is able to have a big smile on their face after having tons of fun. Thank you very much to all of you that tuned in throughout the broadcast. It was our pleasure to be here broadcasting this for you. Make sure to share the video. We would really appreciate that. And thank you as well to those of you listening on 95.3 KBBN. For Central Nebraska Streaming, bringing you the drone footage, to our camera lady, Shannon Murray, our video engineer, Gavin Higgins, and for our studio engineer, Dave Burney. This has been Brent Apperson and Jeremy Shipe. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. We will talk to you tomorrow.
All right, guys, thanks.